Live from the Looking Glass Studios, it's the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, had a chance to drive the all-new Mazda CX-50.
Okay.
And it was, I'll tell you about it. I'll give you my thoughts on it. We'll also have the cruise-in calendar, and later, Conrad has This Week in Auto History.
Yes, I do.
Yep.
It's just ahead in this edition of the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike, fiddling with the microphone, Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin.
Yeah.
And I'm Poncho Claus.
There you go.
So thank you very much for joining us today. We had a fabulous preview. We hope that you got to see it, and that's why you've joined us on this edition of the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. We are a car talk show, and we talk about cars.
And food. And life.
Yes. We kind of jumble it all up, and it can
Don's exes.
be. Why do you have to
I know,
go
he's always
there?
gotta go
You
there.
always have to go there.
So early.
I know.
I know. And it's just not.
We'll get there.
I'll tell you what. You can talk about my exes if we can rat on you about your Oldsmobile that's parked in the garage.
Well, we do that
You do
anyways.
anyhow.
Yeah.
Well, we can do it again. Kind of like you ratting me out of one of my 3 marriages.
All right, boys. To separate you.
Thanks, Dad.
Exactly. Well, at any rate, that's kind of the whole thing of this show. We kind of rat each other out and lean on one another now and then. We don't have a phone-in guest this hour, but I thought that I would start off on a great note. It's chilly outside. And speaking
Yes,
of
it
chilly,
is.
I thought, wow, this is a great day. Chili or gumbo. And you have to start now
gumbo.
to let it get all.
No, you should have started yesterday.
Well, you could, but
Yeah.
we didn't yesterday because it was still 80 degrees outside.
Chili
Yeah.
with beans or without beans?
No
Without-
beans.
Without.
Beans is a filler in chili.
Gumbo-
I don't.
gumbo
I
is
never
all it
understood
is.
that.
Gumbo is all about the roux.
Correct.
You do the roux correctly, and gumbo is great.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. I might have to get some gumbo on the way home
Why don't you make it?
because I can't make it in time to eat it.
Would you move that microphone a little bit closer, please? It's like you're talking off mic and I can't hear you. Okay. You can't make it in time.
Well, I can, but it takes a while to make good gumbo.
Have you ever been down to this, what is it, Jake's or whatever this place is on the freeway? They never have? It's a Cajun place.
Oh, you're
not
talking.
bad.
It's there next to the hospital.
Yeah.
It's not. It's. I know who you're talking about. I've been there early on when it first opened a few years ago.
Yeah.
It's all right to me, but I'm not a really big restaurant seafood eater. I'd rather have seafood at home. Yeah. So there you go. All right. How about you?
Well, I like seafood, but I generally eat it when I go out because it's so much trouble to cook it at home.
Well, that stinks up the house.
Well, that
No,
and
but if you grill it, I grill fish. It's good. So you don't.
we do with the shrimp and the crabs and
Well, there's ointment for
Gumbo today.
Gumbo today.
And you know what? I'll bet you that HEB makes a good pot of gumbo and for
that. You
sale.
can probably,
I
you can
think
probably
they
get
do.
them pre-made.
I
There you go.
might have to go try some.
There's an HEB right around the corner here.
Yes. I did mention in our preview, and I'm just going to go ahead and get this out of the way, and I might have to mention it several times because if you listen, a regular watcher, viewer, fan of the show, you'll know that I've been kind of ragging on Carvana for quite some time now with the car vending machines. God. Well, Pennsylvania regulators have
Get in line.
suspended 2 Carvana company locations in the state
Following
from
Michigan.
performing motor vehicle titling and registration actions. The online used car retailers' locations in Philadelphia and Bridgeville, a Pittsburgh suburb, have been placed on the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation's list of suspended issuing agents, meaning the Carvana outlets are temporarily blocked from handling titling and registration matters, though they can continue to sell vehicles. I don't understand that, but whatever. The department cited Carvana for administrative contract violations, according to a spokesperson for the regulatory agency. And last week I mentioned to you that Carvana is in some deep doo-doo when it comes to the people that actually have shares of the company because they lost $100 billion in the last quarter. It's ugly. It's ugly. There are other places to buy used cars other than Carvana.
Yeah.
How do you sell a car without changing the title?
Well,
That's why they're in trouble.
and I don't know what the problem is, but the only thing that I can think of is
Money.
money. So instead of paying the money, Carvana paying the money to the state after I sell you the car, Carvana, sell you the car, instead of paying the money, I'm going to put it in my back pocket and hold it for 30 days or 45 days. In most states, it gives you 30 days to license the car and pay the fee and all that. Not Carvana. They're using the money.
Oh, sure. You think if you've got 500,000 cars across the country and they can delay that by 30 days, 45, 60 days, that amounts to a couple of $1 million quickly.
Quickly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
And let's face it, I mean, they're not selling, $500,000 cars. They're selling $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 cars. Well, we're going to talk to Mac DeLopp about that because he's going to be a guest later on in the show today.
It'd be good to see Matt again.
Yeah, I don't understand doing business like that. First of all, I know that it's a new day and a new age, and people are buying cars online and having them dropped off at their house.
and they advertise the daylights out of it.
And it's like,
Not me.
Couldn't do it. You don't know what you're getting.
I'm tired.
Here's the Carfax. Well, okay.
How true is that in most cases, too? I'm a tire kicker. You gotta kick the tire.
Carfax is pretty accurate.
Well, yes, but Carfax themselves, but there are also people that are they're unscrupulous to maybe
reporting to them.
Exactly.
Well, we're going to have Carfax on later on today.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Carfax
Patrick.
is pretty accurate.
That's right. But let's just use this as an example, okay? I go to the Hertz Rent-A-Car sales lot. Car's been dogged out. It's got 60,000 miles on it now. Never been wrecked. Never had an insurance claim on it. But I've rented a few cars
Leak
in my
from every
lifetime.
orifice. Yep.
And let me tell you something. One of them, I had flat spotted at least the two back tires by having some fun with the rear brakes and the emergency brake. Pull it up. Yeah. What are you shaking your head for?
He's one of
You got
those.
to. You got to. You have never done that.
I would never admit to it.
Particularly on the radio.
I've never done it.
That's what we're talking about. You have done it.
Oh,
You've
yeah.
done. We've all done it.
No, because when we rented cars with the company I was with, that if you damaged that car, you were personally responsible.
There was no
for it.
damage.
If they found out you damaged it, like
was
if
no
you
damage.
spilled a Coke in the car,
No,
or
we didn't do that.
If you smoked when it was a non-smoking
No.
car, you were all personally liable to that.
I'm with you. That's the way ours
Yeah,
was.
you were
but
personally liable.
But just regular maintenance issues like
No.
new tires or brakes.
Somebody flat spotted the
Why
tires.
does
I
this
didn't
tire
do
look
it.
square?
Did you drive the car after you rented it to the last guy? He must have flat spotted the tires. It wasn't me. It just goes down the road.
How'd that go again?
Or you've got bits of rubber in the wheel well.
There's that. In the front
What-
wheel
yeah,
well,
what
from the
happened
front
there?
wheel drive cars after you've spun the tires off of them.
Yeah.
Or the NASCAR cars that catch fire because all the rubber packed in the wheel
Why are
well.
there footprints on the ceiling? Well, you never know.
Or like the contractor that was laying asphalt down on Highway 146, and they made a mistake in the mix, and they laid it down, and then they let the cars go over the top of it, and it just all balled up inside the wheel wells of
Oh,
all
no.
the cars. Remember that? It happened about, 3 or 4 years ago. And the cars they could barely pull over to the side of the road because the whole wheel well was full of all of the uncured asphalt.
Sort of like when you drive in the snow, how it all piles up in the.
Exactly.
Very similar. Yep.
Oh my God, what a nightmare that was.
That had to be an expensive insurance claim.
Ooh. Yeah. Would you even dare turn that into the insurance company because if somebody didn't add the right amount of flour and salt to the mixture? And
And then the question is, would Carfax know? Oh, all the way back to the beginning of this
See
conversation.
what I mean?
exactly.
Was it reported to Carfax?
Yeah, no, it wasn't because somebody got a hold of it and dug all of the asphalt out from the wheel wells to let it steer again.
How
But you
would you
get
do
underneath, but you get underneath the car, and here is all of this uncured asphalt everywhere under the chassis of the car.
Undercoating.
There you go.
Good sound,
with
didn't it?
rocks in it.
Yeah.
Muffler, everything.
Everything. all balled up and just awful.
I used to spray undercoat in 70, 78, 79 at Eskridge Oldsmobile. That was one of the things that they sold was undercoating.
But that was more of an oil,
It was kind of a tar,
a liquid.
a black
Yeah.
tar.
Yeah, but you semi-controlled where you put it.
Oh yeah, you put a gun in it, and actually, and this is how weird it is. It was a BG product back then when I was turning wrenches, long before I worked for them. And you put the can on the end of a gun, and you knew where you wanted to spray.
Right.
You sprayed everything. And you made sure you didn't spray things you didn't want to spray.
It was truly amazing to me. We moved down here from Wisconsin way back in the dark ages. Everything in Wisconsin, if you had a new car, you definitely wanted to have undercoating, especially back in the 50s and the 60s.
just to protect it.
Yeah, because they would rust right through it in 2 years' time.
Insides of the doors, they'd spray it. Oh, yeah.
But for some reason, somehow, people down here, where there is no salt on the roads, there is not a rust issue per se. The car dealer would sell people undercoating. Why?
Because it's a profit center.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And one guy, the guy that worked changing oil, Leon, here he was. It was over everything.
Oh gosh. Yeah, you had to be careful.
Exhaust pipes, transmission
You go, Leon.
linkage. Yeah.
And where's Leon today? He works for Carvana.
Yeah.
That's right. What are you going to say, Mars?
I'm trying to think of the name
Are
of that
you
place.
sucking on some sort of lozenge again?
Say have it true. I was trying to think of the name. There was a chain of stores.
Z-Bart.
Z-Bart. That was
Z-Bart.
it. They'd actually drill holes in the body.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
To
and
be able to
rockers
spray
and all that,
inside.
yeah.
You
Right.
you could always tell if it'd been Z-Bart because there was little yellow plugs.
And hopefully they didn't do it while the electric windows were down.
Yeah, because then you get it all over the mechanism and the glass and all that. Oops.
No, there's lots of things dealers sell for additional dealer
Etching.
profit.
Oh,
Etching.
Yep.
absolutely.
The paint protectant,
Mm-hmm.
the fabric protectant. In all the years I worked for General Motors,
Let
I've
us
never
Scotch guard that.
I've never seen a claim paid for any of that paint protectant or fabric protectant stuff.
That's the reason I bought a Honda instead of a Camry one time, because I wanted the Camry. I liked the way it looked, but I told the dealer I don't want the window etching. I don't need all this stuff on that. And he said that's just the way it is. So I walked away and went and bought the Honda. I have since learned that the Toyota importer for the 5-state area, he puts it on there before it gets to the dealer. At the time, back in 2000, I thought it was the dealer doing it, but they come to them that
Friedkins.
Yeah.
way.
The Friedkins.
Yeah, well, Gulf
Yeah.
States Toyota.
Yeah, Gulf States.
Well,
Friedkins.
I wasn't going to say Gulf States Toyota, but I was trying to, be nice. But it's basically Gulf States Toyota.
Well, that's not being
But-
derogatory. They did it. I mean,
Each of the distributors that bring in imports do that. The Honda dealers, the Honda distributor does it, as does the Nissan distributor. So it's not
Well, the
exclusive.
Honda I bought wasn't that way.
Well, they have. Maybe they didn't then.
yeah, well.
Now, when I was with AutoNation as a buyer rep, they used to do it at the dealer. If you didn't want it, they wouldn't put it on. But it was the glass etching, mainly
Right.
glass, and that's all it was. So you could deny it. And
That's
they
what
wouldn't-
I
yeah.
always thought it was, and but the Camry, I couldn't get the Camry without it. He said, "You're not going to buy any Toyota," and I looked on the lot, and sure enough, they all had it.
yeah, I've walked
Because it
away
was
from.
done at the port of entry.
Yes,
I
And I've learned that
I
since.
walked away from several car deals, and I said, I'm not buying undercoating. I'm not buying etching. I'm not buying your window. I don't want any of that stuff. Well, it's too well. Okay,
See ya.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
And that's
And
your choice as a buyer.
yeah, because it was like I don't know, $2,000-3,000 worth of extras on the white piece of paper next to the window sticker.
Yes.
No.
And their true cost was probably $200 or $300.
Uh-huh.
Well, but again, the dealer did. Well, in some cases, the dealer did some of that, but in the case of the Camry, the Toyota, with them doing it at the port of entry, with Gulf States Toyota doing it, the dealer has no choice. They don't have any costs in it because it's already there. I
It's
mean,
already
they've
on the invoice.
yeah, they've already paid for it.
It's like your destination charges.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, back to the Carvana thing. I cannot imagine, and I know that millions of people are now buying cars, used cars online and having it delivered to the house. And you never hear of the problems that come with cars like that that the new owner has to deal with.
By sight unseen.
Yeah. And you know that there are. I mean, okay, put some new tires on it. Well, that's not going to cover up the fact that it needs new shocks or it's got a leaky one or whatever.
Bushings,
Granted that
yeah.
it has gone through some sort of an inspection process, but still, you know it's a car. It's got 1 million parts on it.
Depending on the miles on it.
Right. And where those miles have come from. Has it gone over unpaved roads all its life? You
Oh,
never
yeah.
know that stuff.
Yeah.
And what recourse do you have as
None.
a buyer?
None. Because most of them, it's like 30 days and you're done.
30 feet or 30 seconds.
Yeah. And I'm sure that there's some ugliness to go along with all of that, but you never hear that.
Well, maybe there'll be reviews you can look at on the site, or Google whatever site and find out.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to do a survey. Hey, have you bought a car from these online retailers that have it delivered to your house?
That might be something I could look into for next week. The reviews.
Would you?
Of that? Yeah, I'll do that.
Do that.
George says to bring back Art Grindle.
Art Grindle Dodge. Yeah. He'd jump up and down in the cars. So he'd have his entire staff. Are you familiar with Art Grindle? None? Are any of you? You are? You didn't live here then.
No, but I've seen the commercials.
Art Grindle was a car dealer here on OST. This is back in the 60s. And he would basically have every employee, including the lady that mops the floors at night, and have them all the used cars lined up. And live on television, he would get out there and he would hawk these used cars. Some of them smoking, some of them not even running. Seriously, they'd have to push the car through the little area where the camera was located. And he'd jump up and down on them, and the price of the car was $500, and if it didn't run, I'll sell this to you right now for $100. And he'd sell every one of his cars. Every one of those. And he went down to Florida after he closed up shop here. He moved to Florida and did the same thing down there until he died.
Wow.
What a character. Look it up online. Go to YouTube. Art Grindle. Absolutely
And
wonderful.
there was one Cal
Worthington.
Cal Worthington.
And his dog, Spot.
Yeah.
And the dog was,
Was a lion or
or an
Tiger,
alligator or
bear,
whatever.
elephant.
Yeah. And Cal Worthington actually is the one that bought Richardson Chevrolet and moved it to the new location where it is now, which is, what is it now? Is it Auto Nation? I don't know what it is.
No,
It's
no,
over there
no.
in Sharpstown.
It's a classic Chevrolet.
No, it can't be. Is it a
Yeah,
classic?
yeah. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
Well,
it's,
they don't advertise it.
No, not at all.
They don't advertise it.
Hillcroft and 59.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
But there's so many out there. I mean, look at the Cadillac dealership that's on there, Beltway in 59. It's changed the third ownership.
David Taylor.
There used to be David
Used to be
Taylor.
David
And now
Taylor.
6 names down the road, it's
Now
still
it's
there.
Sterling McCall.
No, it's something else now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I can't remember. I went by there the other day.
That's crazy.
See,
And, you know,
David Taylor actually started downtown
Right.
off of McGowan, where McGinnis Cadillac was, where
Yep.
Mossy Oldsmobile was, where Sam White Oldsmobile
Well, those
was.
are blasts from the
is the
past
building
there.
still there? It is. Because that was,
Multi-leveled.
yep, old building, probably from the 30s.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well,
Something
they've
like
actually
that.
David Taylor when they went to Sterling. Now they're in the BMW store because they've all kind of like flip flopped.
Switched around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole thing out there at the
crazy.
Beltway in 59, it's a
Every week is
everybody's
different.
moving
Everybody's switching
here.
around.
Matter of fact, the BMW dealership bought the old Sears store at Westwood Mall.
And they moved down there. Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy. Of course, they had a look at the size of the parking lot that
Yeah.
they had.
And that is a monster of a BMW's dealership.
It really is. Well, good use of an old Sears store.
Well, they've got 24 service advisors, like 65 technicians.
Wow.
It's a monster of a BMW store.
And who owns it? Is
That's
it
Group 1.
Group 1? Yeah.
And Steve Salamone, a long-term friend of mine,
I know Steve.
is the parts director there.
He was he service over on the store on
He was
290?
he was on Monday. He was at Monday.
Monday.
He was at Monday.
Was he
parts
service or
guy, and
parts?
He was parts first, and then service,
Right.
and then went. But he originally started. I remember him from the Chevy store down by the Astrodome,
Was Monday up on 1960?
1960.
Salomon. That is a blast from the past there.
Yep.
Wow.
He's,
There are
he's
some
a,
of
he's
us
a funny
old
hoot.
people still around.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Well, we've managed to,
Burn through it.
yeah, we certainly have. I'd like to remind everybody that if you'd like to get in touch with us, shoot us an email. The address is info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for the Cruise In calendar. And boy, I'll tell you what, tomorrow would be a nice, crisp morning, and the sun is supposed to be shining tomorrow. Ooh, yeah.
Do you have
Wash the
anything-
car this afternoon, get out and go to a car show.
You got a gumbo cruise in or anything?
No, that'd be a good idea.
a gumbo cruise?
Drive into a gumbo.
Yeah.
Car show and concert at Victory Outreach Church in Houston, off of Berry Road, and that's an open show. Cars and cocktails and clutches at 5334 Washington.
Cars.
Cocktails and clutches
Okay.
at 3 p.m. Off of Washington Avenue. 4 p.m. Nifty 50s Mustang Night at 2250 Buckthorn Place up in the Woodlands. The Concert Pub North Cruise In at 2470 Cypress Creek Parkway, which is 1960, and that starts at 5 p.m. The Splendora Car Meet starts at 6 p.m. off of 2090 in Splendora. At 7 p.m. is the 610 Night Cruise Meet at the Taco Cabana off of East Freeway in Houston. Chassis for Charity, Texas Huddle Grill and Sports Bar off of NASA Parkway in Webster. That starts at 10 p.m. tonight.
Chassis for charity.
Chassis
Clever.
for Charity. And then, let's see. Tomorrow is Car Culture Limitless in Pearland Town Center. That starts at 8 a.m. At 11 a.m. is Cars, Cans, and Cuts Covert Country up in Hutto, Texas.
Well, run that by me again.
Cars, Cans, and Cuts. At
What is that? What is cans and cuts?
I have absolutely no idea.
Would that be?
But Covert Country,
Maybe
which
it's
is
a knife fight.
Rock's one of the Covert stores. You know, Covert
Yep.
is Bastrop and Austin and stuff. They own.
Is
the
that up
store
at
in
Cut and
Hutto.
Shoot, maybe?
No, Hutto.
No, Hutto's north of Austin.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then Classic and Custom Car Show off of DeMitt in Crystal City, Texas tomorrow. 4 p.m. is Test and Tune. No, they canceled that. I'm sorry, from weather. The Toy Drive and Car Show at Food Town off of Decker Road in Baytown tomorrow at 8 a.m. 4 p.m. tomorrow, Cars and Cigars off of Richmond Parkway. Down in Richmond, Octane and Espresso at Black Rifle Coffee.
That's the same.
At 8 a.m. tomorrow, 7086 Highway 6 North. And then finally on the Monday night meet at Becker Wraps in College Station.
Time now for this hour's car review. The 2023 Mazda CX-50. I have to tell you that this is an all-new Mazda from the ground up. Comes in many trim levels. It comes in S, then Select, then Preferred, Preferred Plus, Turbo Meridian, Turbo Premium, and Turbo Premium Plus.
Wow.
So,
And which one did you have?
I happen to have the, let's see what it says here. I happen to have the Premium Plus package with all-wheel drive.
But not turboed.
Oh, yes, 2.5 liter turbo. It is a small SUV, 2 rows of seats, front and middle, if you want to call it that. 4 passengers plus the driver. All new for 2023. The only thing to differentiate the CX-50 from other SUVs in the class is the grille and the oversized rear wheel bulges. Bodywork in the back. Mazda grille that we're all familiar with. Faux brake vents under the rear bumper, which I thought was interesting because of the extra large size haunches on this thing. They had room to do something, so they put some fake
Brake vents
actually,
in
and it looks pretty good, to be honest with you. Mazda style taillights with dual exhaust. Overall look is Subaru-esque. I think that's the line. Do we have some sort of a lung problem over here between you and Mars? Have you all been sleeping together or
I don't
something?
know what's going
Cuddling.
Cuddling. The infotainment system that is controlled by a big joy knob in the center of the console. Still have a problem with that kind of control. Matter of fact, I won't get into it, but I have been driving another car that still has that.
Touchpad.
Oh, God, it's like, really?
Must be a Lexus.
Clam-style center console doors on this Mazda,
All right.
which are kind of cumbersome, actually.
Yeah.
And she's got those on her Mercedes. I'm
I'm not a big fan. Nice-looking seating surfaces. Seats are comfortable. Plastic door panels. Cargo trunk room adequate for this two-row.
Good looking interior, though.
Yeah, it is.
Color-wise and shapes and stuff.
Yes. It's funny because all of the car manufacturers these days have really stepped up, for the most part, with the interiors. I think they've realized that is a huge selling point since the exteriors all kind of look the same.
Yeah.
What could use improvement? In this particular one, I'd love to have seen a passive phone charger. There is room to put one. Why they don't, I don't understand. Key fob that doesn't have buttons on the edge of the fob.
Oh, because you engage it while you're
So-
putting them away or handling
your
them.
pocket.
You put it in your pocket, and your other stuff that you've got in your pocket hits that edge of for the buttons, and off it goes. I don't understand why they did it that way, but again, there's a lot of things in
supposed
life
to hang
that I
it from your
don't
belt.
understand. Okay, 2.5-liter turbocharged engine, 227 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque.
That's pretty good.
6-speed automatic transmission. It'll tow up to 3,500 pounds. Gets 23 in the city, 29 on the highway for a combined at 25. I got 24.9 miles per gallon over 345.5 miles. Not too bad. Power to weight ratio is good with this optional motor in it. What could use improvement? I'd have liked to have seen a little bit better mileage, but 30 miles to the gallon is kind of good these days.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ride and handling. The handling was excellent, and the ride was sporty and not too stiff. What could use improvement? Nothing. If you're an aficionado, you'll like its Miata style.
Did you have the double roof? The double sunroof?
Never, I think I did, but
not a
me,
sunroof.
I'm
No,
not.
I know that. But that's kind of a cool little feature, is the double sunroof.
Yeah,
You
so you
have a
can get
sunroof.
hotter quicker. Base trim price $42,300.
Oh.
The delivery charge is $1,275, so that bumps it up to $43,575. Base model price is $27,550. Now, if
not
you
bad.
can
That's
find
the
one,
engine.
if you can find one, I think I'd go with that. Competitors: Honda CR-V 37,150, Subaru Forester 32,550, $32,255. No, I did not. Mazda CX-5 is $26,700, and it is a competitor to its own brother,
Wow.
which is kind of strange. All right. Time now for a quick break. The In Wheel Time Car Show streams on the iHeartRadio app and Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. 30-minute podcast available from your favorite podcast provider. In Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break. Starting to work on your Christmas calendar? Be sure to add the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In Saturday, December 17th. You'll want to attend Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition, Saturday, December 17th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the Christmas season with friends and family at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, December 17th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting.
Hey, Houston! America's greatest hot rod tradition is back! Thanksgiving weekend! The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama! At the George R. Brown Convention Center. 4 action-packed days of hot rods, customs, classics, trucks, performance cars, and live music. Do not miss the ultimate Ultimate Lowrider Showcase. Sponsored by Shorty's Hydraulics and the Traditional Rod Garage. Saturday only, it's the Tuner Galleria with 250 imports, JDM, and luxury cars, plus music and models. On the celebrity stage, presented by Nick's Auto Repair and Classic Car Restoration, meet Bad Chad and wife Jolene from Bad Chad Customs on Friday. Saturday, it's Dave Kindig from TV's Bitch and Rise. Sunday, it's Danny Coker and Kevin Mack from TV's Counting Cars. Shop the swap meet and women's world all weekend. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama. November 25th to 28th at the George R. Brown Convention Center. Discount tickets at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Part of the Summer Racing Equipment Show Car Series. See Autorama.com for more info.
It's the N-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, we talk with Mr. Autorama,
Great.
Larry Way.
All right.
Conrad will have This Week in Auto History, and we'll get you updated on the stories making car news this week. Howdy, along with Mike out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us today. And joining us right now, and I assume that you are up there in the great north of the North America?
I am. And it's a beautiful day here.
Yeah? Well, where exactly are you?
I'm in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, and this morning it's probably 60 degrees,
Oh, my God.
which is unusually warm.
It's the
for
middle of
this
summer.
time of year for us.
Well,
yeah.
44
last time
here.
I checked, it was 43 here. So come on down. Ottawa. Larry, it's always good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you guys.
How have you been?
Everything's wonderful. Everything's fantastic. We had a great summer. I run my own series of shows in the summer. We did very well. Had some rain. We postponed, but no. Looking forward to coming back to Houston. Looking forward to seeing you guys.
Well, as always, you know, I would like to put us in there with Bad Chad and his wife Jolene and Dave Kindig, Danny Coker. I'd like to put ourselves right in there with them. You know, one of these
you
days,
are.
yeah. Well, we're going to have to get up there to the signing table, you know, and have the long lines like the wrestlers and everybody else that you bring into town for the Autorama.
Well, I'll be working all the celebrity stages. So if you guys are there, if you want to meet them, just come up to the side of the stage, come up the exit side, and you can come up and meet them.
Okay. Well,
Or if they want to meet us,
that's right. We
can,
can all
bring-
march
yeah.
up there and stand in front of the table and say hello to all the friends.
And that too.
Well, Autorama has become a Thanksgiving tradition here in Houston, and we're real happy to have you back.
We're glad to be back. It's our first show of the season. We're excited. We open Thanksgiving evening afternoon, I should say, at 3. At the George R. Brown, they have your Thanksgiving feast where they feed thousands of people. So that'll happen in the morning, and then we open in the afternoon.
yeah, you told me last year that you actually participated as a volunteer last year.
I'm volunteering this year too. I sent my application in, and I'm going to go and help in the afternoon.
Well, good.
Very
Thank
nice.
you.
Yeah,
That's
we
great.
Appreciate that.
It's
But-
a wonderful thing, and I talked to some of the different news people there. I said every city in Canada, every city in the United States should do this. I mean, feed all these wonderful people, and it's just a great thing. Of course, all the dignitaries are there, you know, shaking hands and so on, that's politics. However, it's just an absolute wonderful thing that your city does.
And it's emotionally fulfilling for both the people coming to eat as well as the people serving. You know, that's
Exactly right.
just a great experience.
It's great for everybody. It sure is.
Larry?
We're really excited about our show this year. We've got a great celebrity lineup. We've got Tuner Galleria back on Saturday only, which we think will have 200 cars. We've got a great, of course, celebrity lineup. Nick's Auto is going to sponsor our celebrity stages. We have Bad Chad and Jolene. They're from Eastern Canada. They're from Halifax, Nova Scotia. And of course, Dave Kindig, who's very popular, and Danny on Saturday, and Danny Coker and Kevin Mack from Counting Cars on Sunday. So we're really excited. We have a great celebrity lineup. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama is part of the Summit Racing Car Show series, and we're happy to have all these great sponsors with us. If we didn't have these sponsors and the help we get from the media, like In Wheel Time, we wouldn't be able to do it.
Well, I have to tell you that I was just looking at the media page that I got, Houston Copy Points 2022,
Yeah.
that I would imagine that you probably put together.
What a good guess.
this is the 62nd
What?
O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama.
Isn't that unbelievable?
It truly
Wow.
is. And I have to tell you that I was probably at the first or second one, and it was over at what we lovingly referred to at the time as the Albert Thomas Convention Center. It was long before anything else was downtown, and it was a large, workable venue, certainly not anywhere close to the size of the George R. Brown Convention Center. But I'll never forget, it was really my first actual induction into any kind of car show with all the bling. And this car show is different. It's not a new car show. This is a custom, classic. All of the hot rods that you could possibly imagine and more appear at this show and have for the past 62 years. And, it's really something. And if you've never been to a car show, this is certainly one to dip your toe into.
Well, and like I said last week, one of my favorite things to go look at is the lowrider section. The craftsmanship and artistry they put into the paintwork and the chrome scroll etch work is just remarkable. I mean, it's breathtaking.
This
That's how
isn't a
beautiful it
big
is.
manufacturer car show. These are working people. These are guys and gals that work to make that vehicle, that car, that truck look the way it is, and then they enter it. So
Right.
that's what it is. It's the working man show.
Yeah, it really is a wonderful event, and this is one of those kid-friendly events. There's lots of kids there, and for anybody that's never been, this is a great introduction into the world of automobiles and custom cars, and you're going to see things that you're going, are you kidding me? Look at that.
And bring your wagon for the swap meet.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to tell you, Larry, I will confess that for whatever reason, there is something that always draws me to the swap meet. Why is that?
Well, that's great. I mean, those of us in the car world are always looking for something, and I always end up buying something.
Yeah,
Whether you can use it or not.
Yeah,
you
something
still-
that's rusted. Maybe you can have it for a piece of
right.
artwork on the coffee
There you
table or
go.
something.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Man cave stuff.
Yeah, man cave stuff.
I must say, Shorty's Hydraulics does a heck of a job of putting together the lowrider section. And you're right, they're lowriders. The work, the workmanship, the time, the money is unbelievable. And I encourage car people, they go by, it's a lowrider. Take a close look. I mean, it's really,
Breathtakingly beautiful
it
work.
really
they do.
is.
Yeah.
The artistry is just fantastic.
Well, I understand that tickets you can get discount at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Yeah. We're fortunate. We have O'Reilly in all of our shows, but one as a sponsor. And then, Don, if you were going, say, alone, is it worth going out of your way to go to O'Reilly to save a couple of dollars? No, but if you're four people, it's a big savings. It's worth going.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, there's an O'Reilly pretty much on every corner,
Yeah.
certainly in the neighborhood.
Right,
and it's no
right.
big deal to stop in there and pick
Right.
yourself up a discount coupon.
And then the opportunity to be part of the Magnificent Seven and the Mill Winders
Let's
Award.
talk about that for a minute. We touched on that last week when we were talking about Autorama. And tell us about the Magnificent Seven.
Well, what they do, they'll go through, along the judging staff, along with management, will go through and pick 7 vehicles, what they would call semifinalists, 7 of the top vehicles that have never, ever been shown in Houston. And then they'll pick them together. They'll pick the number 1 car, and that person will get $5,000. That's sponsored by Speed and Sport Chrome in Texas, in your area in Houston. That's a lot of money, $5,000. We also have the other award, the Lone Star Cup, which is $1,000 for a car that's from Texas. So we really have some great things.
Well, I will tell you that we talked to one of the participants. Well, we always talk to at least one of the participants in the Magnificent Seven. And
Yes.
I don't know whether it was last year or the year before, the fellow brought a car that I have never seen anything quite like it because there wasn't one.
The Shark-Nosed Graham.
And it was originally a 4-door car, but he had chopped 2 of the doors out of it and made an absolutely stunning
Beautiful.
automobile. And I asked him, I said, so how much money you got in that car? Well, I said, is it $2 million? Well, I'm not really.
Ask the wife.
Yeah. He says, I said, you can't tell me because you don't want the wife to know. He said, well, yeah, something like that. He didn't want his wife to know how much he overspent on the car.
Well, there had to have been at least $3 million. I mean, that was an incredible car.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
and
was.
the workmanship. Most of these cars that are, well, I shouldn't say most, all of these cars in the Magnificent Seven are of that quality. And it's just how much work is done. It's well done in all of those cars, but it comes down to how much work is done. And the Graham, his name's Mike Markham, he did a heck of a job on
Yeah,
that.
that was a stunning car.
Yeah, it really
Oh,
was.
it really was.
You know, to put it, how do you put that into perspective? I asked him how long did it take him to build it. It took him like 5 years to build it.
Yes.
These cars typically take years to build, and people are
Right.
going, "What, on a car? Well, just throw some
But
paint
it
on
probably
it."
takes a period of time just to conceptualize what you want to do, much less
Right.
get the torch out and start cutting it.
Well, that's because it's hand built.
Now, Larry, these cars cannot enter again the next year. Once they entered, either win or lose, they're not eligible. How does that work?
They're not eligible for that award. It's the first time shown. So once they're shown a second time, they'll be eligible, say, for best rod or best custom, best truck, whatever it would be. And they could be shown again, but they will not be eligible for the major award.
What
You
this
only win the major award once.
And Larry, with this being the first show of the season for the Autorama, World of Wheels, Customs, all that sort of thing, that I would imagine that really the guys that have put all their time and effort into the car, this is the kickoff event, and everybody, I would imagine, really works toward this particular event to get the car done.
The Super
This
Bowl.
is why the Houston show has such fantastic quality. You're right, because they'll get their cars ready, and this will be the first time they'll try and win the first time shown award. And then from here, a lot of them will carry on and show 3 or 4 shows and try and win the championship. So this is the kickoff for us. So it's good for the Houston Autorama because we get these cars that are fresh. So it's always fun. And of course, we look forward to it's Texas. There's lots of trucks. There's lots of nice looking trucks.
Yes. We are well aware of that. And it's like millions of them. Is ISCA still involved in the show car stuff?
Yes, we are. We're part of the ISCA circuit, which is the Summit Show Car Equipment Series. Yes, ISCA. There are a few shows that are not ISCA sanctioned. The advantage to ISCA is one major advantage is judging it. We follow a strict rule book. I've judged for 40 years. I'm a top level judging supervisor. I still judge a couple of shows a year. And we have a rule book to follow. We have rules to follow. So it tries to get the personalities away from things. If you're judging a car and judging 2 cars, and one guy's you know them both, you're local, let's say, and one guy's a jerk and one guy's a heck of a guy, and they're close, who are you going to vote for? We're humans. But when you follow a book, and most of our judging staff comes from out of town, so they don't care whose car it is. They don't know anybody. So it's trying to be impartial, and that's part of being part of the ISCA.
And it brings a consistency to the judging and kind
Exactly.
of weaves out the emotion of judging.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Well, when we,
Exactly right.
the past couple of years, last year we had Dwayne Johnson's truck in our booth, and we were kind of wishy-washy on whether we wanted to enter it into the competition. We said, why
Right.
not? I mean, it's
Why
not
not?
our car, it's his. He's been kind enough to loan us the car
Right,
to
right.
display,
Yep.
and he got second place. And but the what we went through getting the car in, they pretty much determine what class the car is going to be in for the most part at when we entered the building with the car and check in.
Right.
And then they
Yes.
kind of fine tune that once the car is in place, and they look at what the competition is in that particular category. And it's all done so fairly. and it's almost invisible. You really don't really know what's going on, but the judges came by a couple of times to look at the truck, and
Yes.
he was thrilled with second place because the one that beat
It was
him,
a cool truck, though.
it's a
Too.
very cool truck, the one that beat him out, and he said to me, Dwayne did, he said, yeah, man, that truck that won the first place, it deserved to be the first place truck because it was it was a more modern interpretation of that particular class of car. And so it was all done so fairly, and it was all transparent. There was nothing hidden about it, no secrets. And I really give you guys a lot of credit for that because, as you well know, doing this for a long time like we have, there can be some pretty ugly stuff go on behind the scenes in some cases.
There is. Mm-hmm.
And that's not that way at Autorama.
And the judges are available Sunday night after the award. So if any of the participants have questions, they can talk to the judges. And I encourage anybody that's showing a vehicle to talk to the judges because they're looking. They're with their flashlights and they're looking in every nook and cranny, and they're not there to criticize. They're there to help. They're to judge the show, obviously, but to help the exhibitors and say, yeah, you might want to do this, and what can I do to improve it?
Right.
Other than spend $100,000.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be an endless well, right? I mean, depending what you want to do, but that you can say, well, you can maybe do this and maybe do that, and the judges are there after the awards. Now, I know there are non-ISCA shows, and you never see the judges. They judge overnight, and they're not available to the car owners, and that's just not fair. They should be there to help encourage them.
And that's how to do better the next time.
Yeah, well,
it.
I will say this, that when I was doing the show car thing, and I did it for a number of years with my first Corvette, the 77, I always went in with an open mind. And it didn't matter whether I won or didn't win. I always tried to pick the judges' brains as to what it was where I got my points deducted. And so I
Get
could,
a little coaching and counseling.
yeah, and I learned from that. And I go and look at the competition and see what they had done and why that guy got first place and I got second place. And it's educational. You get judges kind of like taking the test in math. At the end of the day, did you study? Did you do your homework? If you did your homework, you're going to be an A.
No, Larry said in the beginning, you were the jerk. You were the one that nobody liked.
I was that guy.
I don't
yeah.
know if I necessarily said that, but that's a good one. So a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I should say, I was at the SEMA show. Our buddy Gene Winfield was there, 95 years old, driving around in a scooter, and some guy had a motorized Lazy Boy. Gene says, let me get in that. Gene was driving around the floor of SEMA for half an hour in a Lazy Boy chair, a motorized Lazy Boy.
Hey, was Ian Roussel there? I know that he moved out there to the desert, kind of not too far.
Neighbors.
Not too far from Gene.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's doing good. He's doing great. He's still in the desert. He's still working, still making appearances, and it was really good to see him.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, if you see him, tell him we said hello. Not that he would remember us, but so let's talk about the hours of the show and when it's open and when it's not.
So we're open Thanksgiving from 3 to 8, and then Friday and Saturday 10 until 8 and 10 until 6 on Sunday.
Yeah. And
Discount tickets at O'Reilly Auto Parts. The celebrities, Brad Chad's on from 1 to 5 on Friday. Dave Kindig 1 to 4 on Saturday, and Kevin and Danny Coker from 1 to 4 on Sunday. So we have afternoons for Friday, Saturday, Sunday for our celebrities. The celebrities are just a small part of it. I mean, we've got the Tuner Galleria, we have Shorty's Hydraulics, plus all the wonderful show cars, the hundreds of show cars we have, and our automotive flea market, and we have everything.
Are you going to go pick up Dave from the airport on Saturday morning?
I will.
Are you going to have him there in time for our show?
No, he's flying in and out the same day. I would say he'll probably come in. I haven't seen his schedule, but I would say he'll probably land at 11 or something, or 12. He'll just come in time. He'll probably come in at maybe around 11.
Yeah.
He's coming from Salt Lake, so it's not that far.
On his own private jet, no doubt.
No, he's flying. He's flying commercial airline. No, he probably won't be. Now, you're from 8 until 10, correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
8 to
8
11.
to 11. And,
8 to 11?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you line us up with somebody between 11 and 12, then we'll stay on
Yeah,
till
we'll
12
stick
for
around.
you.
Heck yeah.
Okay.
By the way,
probably,
I
I'll
wanted
do
to.
something with you early, but I think I'll probably be running to the airport to get Dave whatever time he comes.
Well, that's fine.
We'll send Mike. Mike will do that.
Yeah. But I wanted to tell you that there is construction at the airport. And it
there
is
is?
an absolute mess
Oh,
out
yeah.
there. So you might want to do a phone call or two to figure out how you're going to circumvent all of the construction. But I don't
Well,
know
you're
if
going
you
to fly
can.
in, aren't you?
You're going to fly in.
Yeah, you'll see it.
Yes.
are
In
you-
fact, I just changed my flight yesterday. I'm flying from Canada, obviously, and I was going to an airport in Toronto, which is kind of a nightmare. And I only had an hour and 10-minute layover, and I thought that's not going to work. So I'm coming in Wednesday evening, and I have a 3-hour layover, and I'd rather have that to make sure I'm there, and then I can make
sense.
sure I'm there because I want to volunteer on Thursday, and I want to be there for the opening of the show, of course.
Yeah, and don't forget it's Thanksgiving weekend. You know what the airports are like.
Exactly right, and that's why.
Well,
That's
Larry,
why.
it's really good to talk to you, and thank you so much
Always
for
good
joining
to
us
talk to you
today.
guys.
Yep, and we're going to see you. We're
a
going
couple of weeks.
2 weeks,
in
yeah.
a couple of weeks. So we look forward to it. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you then.
Thank you for having me, guys. Always a pleasure.
Larry
Thanks,
Way
Larry.
with Autorama. All right, time now for This Week in Auto History. Conrad has that, as always.
In 1908, Bobby Hupp took a first successful test drive of a Huppmobile on the streets of Detroit, Michigan. After the successful run, they popped the champagne, and the company was incorporated the same month and debuted the Model 20 at the 1909 Detroit Auto Show.
You were there for that, weren't you, Jeff?
No, I was building a spine.
Huppmobile would build cars from 1909, and their last car was built in 1939. And actually, Bobby Hupp worked for who? Ransom Eli Oldsmobile.
Oh, got to get it in there, don't we?
Yeah, we
Yes,
got to have that.
got to get the Olds
Uh-huh.
in there.
In 1926, the official numerical designation of Route 66,
That's Route
Route
66.
66.
Route 66, the Will Rogers Highway, was assigned for the Chicago to Los Angeles route, 2,448 miles, and it was one of the nation's principal east-west arteries. And when I lived in Oklahoma, big long sections of it were just part of the
Are they
daily
still?
thing.
Do they still exist?
Most of the
Yeah.
road still exists, but it's not called Route 66 anymore. Don't know why they did that, but that's the case. In 1938, Ford Motor Company unveiled its mid-priced automobile brand Mercury this week for a public showing at Grosse Pointe, Michigan. Grosse Pointe,
Yep, I know where's
it's
that.
the high-dollar section of...
I have relatives that live there.
And I
do.
Do you really?
Mercury was championed by Edsel Ford. Let's
go visit.
Mercury sought to fill the gap between the affordable Fords and the more luxurious Lincolns, so kind of fill that middle gap with Mercury. In 1940, the Tacoma Narrows Bridge, also known as Galloping Gertie, collapsed amid windy conditions, crashing into the Tacoma Narrows Strait down below. There were no human fatalities, but one dog died when the abandoned car fell into the waterway during the collapse. The phenomenon known as aeroelastic fluttering was caused by wind hitting the side sections of the road and causing it to jump up and down. They have since figured out how to stop that from happening.
That
thank
was
goodness.
Mike's nickname in high school.
Aeroelastic fluttering.
No, just fluttering. Fluttering Mike Mars.
In 1956, this week, Ford Motor Company decided on the name Edsel for its new model in development for the 1958 market year. The new edition of the Ford family of automobiles would be a tribute to Edsel Bryant Ford, who served as the company president from 1919 to 1943. In 1964, in 1964, Art Arfons, the drag racer from Ohio, built a land speed record in his backyard using a military surplus J-79 jet aircraft with an afterburner.
Engine.
Yep, engine. What did I say?
Just aircraft.
Okay. Aircraft engine. Arfons christened the vehicle the Green Monster, and in September took the racer to Bonneville Salt Flats and went 434 miles an hour.
Wow.
No thanks.
Well, got to remember, and I know George is online with us, this is the same car that Betty Skelton drove to over 300 miles an hour.
Wow. That's good to know. That's cool.
So, yeah, really, really cool story. Now, his record only lasted for a couple of weeks because Craig Breedlove reset the record shortly
I
after
thought
that.
maybe Mike did it on an on-ramp acceleration test.
In 1998, NASCAR racer Alan Kawicki, who is of Polish descent, introduced the world to the Polish victory lap at the Checker 400 of the Phoenix International Raceway, where he drove around the track backwards.
Yeah. The car wasn't backwards. He went the wrong way.
He went the wrong
lap.
way around the track, right? In 1989, Nissan's luxury brand Infiniti was launched this week, the same year that Toyota launched its upscale Lexus brand. The original Infiniti lineup debuted under founding general manager Bill Bruce, who introduced the two cars, the Infiniti Q45 and M30. You remember those cars?
Yes.
Did you drive any of them as a press car?
No, I didn't. They were really ugly. They were really ugly. Don't you remember
That's
those?
a technical review there.
They had this,
Round.
They had this
They-
catfish face to it.
Oh,
It was
God,
kind of
they were
weird.
just ugly. Catfish face.
So that's this week in automotive history.
Thank you. Tesla is recalling over 40,000 2017 to 2021 Model S and Model X vehicles that may experience a loss of power steering assist when driving on rough roads or hitting a pothole. Texas-based EV maker has released an over-the-air software update to recalibrate the system after it began rolling out an update on October the 11th to better detect unexpected steering assist torque, according to
He said
the
pot and Elon Musk.
National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Okay.
You smoking what?
No, he's eating too many donuts this morning.
A Clarksville, New Hampshire woman has been indicted on allegations she stole more than $350,000
Did she take the last train?
from a Clarksville? Clarksville. From a Colebrook,
around.
New Hampshire Chevy dealership. She's on the train right now, as a matter of fact. Tina Fournier's alleged thefts took place between January 17 to December 21 at Noyes Chevrolet and its predecessor, Brooks Chevrolet, according to the grand jury indictment.
Now works for Carvana.
40 years' relationship to the stores could not be confirmed. The Conway Daily Sun describes her as a former Noyes Chevrolet employee.
Allegedly.
So she just wrote herself some checks. Yeah.
Nice.
Bad dealership employees. Yeah. At any rate, credit card associated with Noyes Chevrolet to make more than $1,500 in unapproved purchases, including items at a liquor store, a casino, and a local country club. Fournier is scheduled to be arraigned before the Coos County Superior Court.
Coos County?
Coos County.
Let's go get liquored up.
Let's go get, yeah. Come for your daughter, Chuck.
Come for your daughter, Chuck.
All right. Hey, time for a quick break. We'll be right back. You're on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show on iHeartRadio.
Starting to work on your Christmas calendar? Be sure to add the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In Saturday, December 17th. You'll want to attend Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition, Saturday, December 17th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the Christmas season with friends and family at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, December 17th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting.
Hey, Houston, America's greatest hot rod tradition is back. Thanksgiving weekend. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama at the George Hart Brown Convention Center. 4 action-packed days of hot rods, customs, classics, trucks, performance cars, and live music. Do not miss the Ultimate Lowrider Showcase, sponsored by Shorty's Hydraulics and the Traditional Rod Garage. Saturday only, it's the Tuner Galleria. with 250 imports, JDM, and luxury cars, plus music and models. On the celebrity stage, presented by Nick's Auto Repair and Classic Car Restoration, meet Bad Chad and wife Jolene from Bad Chad Customs on Friday. Saturday, it's Dave Kindig from TV's Bitch and Rise. Sunday, it's Danny Coker and Kevin Mack from TV's Counting Cars. Shop the swap meet and women's world all weekend. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama. November 25th to 28th at the George R. Brown Convention Center. Discount tickets at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Part of the Summer Racing Equipment Show Car Series. See Autorama.com for more info.
The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk.
This is your go-to place for entertaining car talk, the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. What's the local skinny on used cars? Carvana? And other hidden mysteries of Houston's used car market? We talk to auto star Mac DeLopp. Jeff talks Mustang prototypes. Later we're going to talk to Car Facts and what you should know before you buy. Conrad has the Car Clinic Plus. We'll have the stories making auto news headlines all straight ahead on the edition of In Wheel Time leading up to Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Howdy, along with Mike out of this world Mars. King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us today. You know, we razz him because he's easy to razz and fun to razz, but he knows
we want to be him.
Yeah, and he knows that we're not serious about anything. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mac DeLong.
Shaking his head.
Well, I don't think there's ever been a serious bone in y'all's body. That's all. And that's what makes this show great.
Well, thank you. Will, we try. But we were noticing before we went on the air with you that there was a baseball bat and an unmounted deer head back
what's
there.
up with that?
Did you dispatch the deer with the baseball bat?
Is that Donner or Blitzen?
Did you put me in wide angle? Usually that's not even in there, but now that I look over there, you're right. It's that's actually a deer that I shot down at my son's ranch. And
you used a gun instead of the baseball bat.
The baseball bat is a commemorative bat. Actually, I'll grab it and show you.
Let's see this.
I do.
I'm glad you got dressed up for us, by the way.
Now you know I'm in shorts.
You
right?
you got strings hanging from your pants. Oh, those are your legs.
I think it's just a video. Anyway, this is actually Joe Perez. He owns a bat company by the name of OTW, which is Over the Wall. He is actually making a lot of strides in the industry, including pro players that are using it now. They're here in Houston. This is a commemorative bat he did for my Cy-Fair Educational Foundation last year. Salute to Heroes. And this was actually signed by George W. Bush's pilot, who we had as our guest speaker.
Oh, wow.
Cool. And so amazing story. Amazing story.
And he's here in Houston.
And he is here in Houston. That's right. OTW. OTW. So that was one of the bats, but he does Major League Baseball bats and competing with the big guys and all that kind of stuff. But,
nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in this office.
You know a lot of people.
Excuse me?
You know a lot of people.
He knows us.
Well, I'm going on 40 years now in the car business, 39 to be exact. And after 36 years with Eagle, you really do. You meet a lot of wonderful people. That's the best part of this job. Best part of being in the car business is the wonderful people. And there are a lot of great people in the business. I enjoy it, truly.
So, Mac,
stay away from
Mac, where is Big Mac's Auto Sales?
We are at 17,000 Northwest Freeway. What we did is we took an old used car lot We completely gutted the interior of the building. It's small. It had 2 service bays when I bought it. I say bought it. I actually ended up leasing it. He wouldn't sell it to me yet. Let's hope. Mo, if you're listening, I still want to buy it. But it holds between 40 and 50 cars. 17,000 Northwest Freeway is basically between Senate and Jones Road. So if you take the Beltway exit, we're on the right-hand side about a quarter of a mile. I'm sorry, if you take the Jones Road exit from the Beltway, right-hand side, you can't miss us. It's a unique dealership. We're trying to bring everything the franchise dealer has to the pre-owned business, and that allows us. We put 6 months, 6,000-mile warranties on every qualified vehicle, and about 95% of our vehicles qualify. We do a full multi-point inspection on every vehicle. I like to tell my customers that there's not one car on this lot I would personally drive. And I've got very high standards when it comes to the vehicles that I buy and sell. So,
who buys your cars, Mac? Do you go out and buy them yourself?
I do. In fact, I spent almost the entire day yesterday buying cars for the dealership. And we also locate cars for customers. We make a reasonable profit, but not an unreasonable profit. I delivered a 22 BMW 430i recently. I just picked up a 22 Tacoma. Let's see, it was a TRD off-road for a customer. They're picking it up on Tuesday. You have to really spend a lot of time finding the cars, especially with the industry the way it is right now. And we search them all over the United States. I've got thousands of auctions available to me. No one puts the effort that we do in the small dealership that we've got in finding the car that's right for our customer.
Well, let's talk about the industry and the used car market, because all I'm reading is ugly things, because it looks as though that the used car market is starting to flip with more and more new cars becoming available. And, what do? I mean, you go out and you buy a $30,000 car and put it on the used car lot, and then within a week or two, there's no profit in it because you can't sell it for what you bought it for.
No, that's right. The industry took a real switch in the last 60 days. And I kind of like it to a degree. I mean, I certainly don't want our dealers to lose money on cars, and that's not what anybody wants to do. However, it gives them the incentive either to hold on a little bit until prices go back up, or to sell. One of the sayings in the car business: your first loss is your best loss, and that is on a vehicle. They're not going to typically, when you have a downturn, they're not typically going to turn around and go the other direction. Although in this particular market, by the way things are going, that could happen. Right now, I've seen auction prices drop 20 to 30%.
Oh, wow.
And that's pretty significant. It's pretty significant. The overall industry, however, certain cars have maintained. It depends on the demand. In Texas, trucks haven't taken a real big drop. In certain areas of the nation, they have. Right now, your northern states are selling cars for lower, but I really stay away from the snow country cars because of the salt. But you don't have to worry about that for the first 2 to 4 years. You really don't. If you get a car out of that environment, it hasn't penetrated anything. It's the older cars that you have to worry about in the northern states. So there are still good opportunities. A lot of dealers still stick with a 60 to 90-day turn. That means they're going to take their losses up front. They'll regain them later. Certainly the profits they've made over the years support it. It's a good time for the consumer to buy a car right now.
It's kind of like playing blackjack, isn't it, though? I mean,
It is. It is. You can watch the trends, but you have to watch them very, very closely. Manheim is still the authority out there, the MMR, which is the Manheim Market Report. That is still the trends. We've got tools. All of the dealers have tools that we can search the entire nation, see where the trends are up and down in certain areas. It takes a lot of time. Don, that's one thing that I learned as an independent dealer. The last time I was buying and selling cars was in the mid to late 80s when I first joined Johnny Honda, and I was still writing drafts and raising my hand. And now everything's done on the internet. It's a safe place for us to be buying on the internet because the condition reports are very well done.
Let's talk about that for a minute because we were having a discussion in our last hour about the fact that there are some unscrupulous online dealers that are hedging their bets and taking what is basically registration fees and putting it in their pocket and holding it for 30 days, and then the buyer of the used car winds up with a car that is not registered with the state. He can't get a license plate for it. The car, and it's Carvana. And Carvana is the one that...
Not to mention any names.
Not to mention any names, but, I mean, let's call them out. I mean, I didn't make this. They did.
Yeah.
Well, the state of Michigan's taken them to court. The state of Pennsylvania's taken them to court. And I'm sure all the other states are starting to pay attention to what's going on.
And it's a continuous news story. So there you go.
But, Mac, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm of the old school, and I realize that. But if I'm going to buy a used car, I want to go kick the tires. I don't want to have a used car delivered to me. And I know that's kind of the trend these days with the Gen Xers and younger people than us. But, boy, that sure is rolling the dice to me.
No, and I agree with you, and I can't make the comment for Carvana or the processes or what they do, but I think all you have to do is look at their past and their past performance, and you can figure out real quick they're not on the direction that they should be. I don't disagree with the process of delivering a car at home, but I would most definitely have an independent inspector inspect any car that you purchase from anyone before that's done. If a dealership won't let you do an independent inspection, that you don't need to buy that car. I guarantee our cars. I'm not going to tell you we haven't had issues. Occasionally, you get a used car that leaves a lot, gets a check engine light that comes on, and we get them to turn right back around, or within a reasonable amount of time. Unfortunately, we have a backup of a warranty on those cars. So our customers are guaranteed they're going to be happy with their vehicle. And if not, I'm going to take it right back and I'm going to find them another car. That happened recently, and I hate to name anything, but it happened recently on the Land Rover that I delivered. I had a customer come in about 2 weeks ago, took delivery of the Land Rover, and this car we drove for weeks to make sure it was good. We even we do the multi-point checks every time, but it came back and I did not feel comfortable, even after our repair, because it was a check engine light, but it was potentially something that could come up later. We found a Lexus GX 464, and she is delighted. She's happy with her vehicle. And I took the car to auction, disclosed even to the auction, and sold it under a yellow light that this vehicle did have an issue. So, but you're right. There are still a lot of things that are happening in the industry. There are damaged vehicles that are repaired by dealers who have body shops, and it's not a bad thing as long as the dealer has a good body shop, can return the vehicle back to OEM specifications. But that's where you need an independent, or you need someone that can genuinely look at this car. The auctions are great. I've got, without paying them anything extra, I've got 3 days to inspect that car, make sure it's exactly the way it's described, and if not, that car goes back. And I can tell you, I've arbitrated a number of cars over the last almost year that we've been open, and they don't force these cars on you. They put it back on the dealers. So it is perfectly safe to buy auction cars from the right dealer.
Well, but I think, Mac, that's the thing. I mean, you're going to where I think you're a dealer. You have a physical presence, and you've got a reputation that you've built up. And you deal with customers like they're customers, like clients, back and forth as you need to. But if, like Don was saying earlier, if I go out there and just buy a car off the internet from a dealer in North Carolina and they ship it to my house, I don't have anybody like you to deal with. And to me,
true.
that's kind of where I see the difference between a presence and developing a trust of somebody like you.
Agreed. And there aren't many of us. There are some good quality independent dealers. I will tell you that now. I'm not into buying rental cars. I have bought a very, very small number of rental cars, but I go through it completely to make sure it's going to be low mileage. And that's hard to find today because the rental car companies are doing nothing but buying used cars now. Right. So it's difficult to do. They'll put 60, 70, 80,000 miles on a car now. They just can't get availability. loosening things up the way it is right now with the new cars. And the bulk of what's coming in right now are the upper end trucks, the upper end cars, the vehicles that are very, very popular. They're building first. And it does give the customer right now, especially with the availability of new vehicles, it gives the customers a great opportunity to buy a used car. I do, no matter where you buy the car, I do recommend finding a dealer, finding an independent that will go over the top for you. Find the car that best meets your needs. We try to right up front tell everything. I mean, the rates are up, everything's up, but there's still some good deals out there. I represent through QAC around 40 credit unions. I've managed to get some of our mainstream lenders financing at this little independent. And that's because we had such a great relationship in the past, took such good care of people at Johnny Go Honda, and that continues at our dealership. So I'm very proud of what we're building, and the momentum is building. In a downed economy, when everybody seems to be going the opposite direction, we're actually increasing in sales, especially in November.
Oh, good for you. Well, it's something I've always said. It's, a good business is judged based on when something goes wrong and how they react versus when everything goes well and they don't have to react.
That's right. And I always recommend get peace of mind. Buy the extended service contract. Make sure the extended service contract that they're utilizing is a good one. They're easily checked on the internet. Make sure that they have high ratings. We sell the bulk of our pre-owned cars with extended service contracts.
Well, I have to tell you, Mac, that's something that I'm going to chime in here. I have a friend of mine that had Car Shield, and what an absolute nightmare it was dealing with them, trying to get the check engine light fixed on it. She spent $1,000 of her own money at a no longer reputable repair facility. So they took her $1,000, and still, when she left there for the third time, the check engine light was still on. Wound up having to take it back to the Jaguar dealership to get it fixed. It was crazy.
Yeah, and they can be. And I can tell you that a lot of the European cars, after a certain period of time, check engine lights become a nightmare. They are so sensitive. Technology is so high. And in many cases, it's not so much the fault of the manufacturer. And I'm not going to put it on the consumer, but you've got to maintain these vehicles. You've got to maintain these vehicles at the intervals that they recommend. They know their cars better than anybody. We all know that Land Rover Jaguar is far superior than what they were 20 years ago and what they were even 10 years ago, since I guess it's Tata that owns them.
Yes.
And so they've made strides. But check engine lights are common. Check engine lights can be from the simplest thing in the world to a major defect. And usually 90% of the time, it's an extremely simple thing. I mean, quality of fuel. Make sure you're buying your fuel at a quality dealer. There's a lot of convenience stores that don't necessarily, not so much today, because our convenience stores are selling Shell and Exxon and so many really goods. Convenience stores have changed significantly over the years. Valero, great gas. So I mean, there's a lot of things you have to do. Some people refuse because of the vehicles that they're driving. They refuse to put the premium or at least the middle grade fuel in their cars, and it does make a difference. I'm driving, and I almost hate to admit this, but because 20 years ago I wouldn't even trade a Land Rover. I'm driving a Land Rover Defender 110 right now, but I know I've got to feed it premium fuel, or it's not going to perform and potentially give me a check engine light in a short period of time. But it's a magnificent car. But I do like to drive all types of different cars. This happened to be the first Land Rover I've ever owned. But you really do have to pay attention to what the manufacturer tells you to do. I'm not, and you know what? If I can help any way, if she's still having an issue with her vehicle, I'd love a phone call, Don. I'll be happy to help.
Mac, I know you're always there for everybody, and you've got a great bunch of people, a lot of people that love you and know that you do such great work, and we're going to send them all to Big Mac's Auto Sales. Mac DeLopp, it's great to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Great talking to you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having us on, and love to hear from you guys. Keep in touch.
You do the same.
Thanks, Mac.
Thank you.
All right, time now for the In Wheel Time racing calendar.
Oh, boy.
I know of one race in particular that's going to wrap up the season this weekend.
Yeah, there's not much racing going on. NHRA is this weekend, the finals in Pomona. Again, Erica's P6. But that was after qualifying round 1 yesterday. I don't know where she is today. I imagine they'll be in much better shape.
Well, she's already won the championship.
She's won the championship, but Robert Height and Brittany Force are still in the play for the championship of Funny Car and Top Fuel. So lots of stuff going on there. Formula One is this weekend at San Paulo Grand Prix. Well, did you see that Haas and Ericsson won the pole? In the American Haas Formula One car, they run a Ferrari engine. It's their first time ever to win a pole, and I'm pretty excited about that.
Good
so
to
it's
know.
not your favorite driver.
Good to know.
Kevin, I'm sorry, I said Ericsson. Kevin Magnussen, and his dad used to drive the Corvettes in IMSA GLP.
Yep.
And then next weekend is Abu Dhabi for the final for Formula One, and that's pretty much the end of it. Joey Logano won the NASCAR championship last weekend, and then December 6th, SCCA 6-hour enduro at MSR in Angleton, and that's pretty much the end of the racing season.
Sweet.
If you'd like to get in touch with us, shoot us an email. The address here is info@inwheeltime.com. Jeff has an interesting feature here. Mustang prototypes.
Mustang prototypes. There's a lot.
Now, we're talking about the original
Sure.
Mustang prototype or prototypes of today?
The original, dating back to the original, the Mustang, and then moving up to today's prototypes. Not really to today's, but things that they did up to today. Now, the things that I noticed was we're going to make a Mustang, and then, okay, we did that. Let's do something else. So this is a progression of the things that actually went through the story. So the Mustang is one of the most famous global. I'll let you do it. One of the most famous global automotive icons. In fact, it's the only car that successfully transcended into the muscle pony car era. During its 55 years, the long history, the Mustang has gone a long way from the humble Falcon base to what we see today. The one that we're doing right now is this 1962 Mustang 1. The Mustang 1 concept was a big deal when Ford introduced it in the late 1962.
I believe that's the one that's in the Henry Ford.
Yes,
as the most functional concept vehicle. First time they used the word Mustang to name a vehicle right at the start. Mustang was a little two-seater, and it was a V4 engine.
V4?
V4
I didn't know
engine
that.
in this particular vehicle. It was a Ford Euro engine.
Kind of like a Toro lawnmower.
Yeah, could have been. The next one would be the 1964 Mustang two-seater. Ford marketed the Mustang as a sports car, even though they built it on a Falcon platform with the regular engine configuration. So the critics thought that the car needed to be a two-seater configuration to be a proper sports car. The name, they named the result of the Mustang 3. It served as Ford's show car from 1964 to 65. Interestingly, this original car got lost, and then they found it in its same condition. So somebody misplaced it in whatever warehouse or museum.
How do you misplace that
I don't know, but they didn't call me.
And then eventually the 64 and a half, 65 was a 2+2. So it had a fold-down rear seat. But this is a shorter wheelbase
And
car.
a prototype to that version. The next one would be a 1965 all-wheel drive Mustang. 65 was already one of the hottest coupes globally, raised attention to the enthusiasts all over the world. And in England, the Ferguson Company, a well-established manufacturer of farm machinery, all-wheel drive systems, decided to convert a V8-powered Mustang into a capable all-wheel drive
I had
vehicle.
no clue.
Yeah.
Ferguson tractors.
I didn't know that
Ferguson
either.
tractors. The downside was it weighed too much. It had performance and everything, but the car was super, super duper heavy. Next one would be the Mustang 2 in 1967. Success of the production model gave the designers a chance to explore the sports concept in many directions.
Opel
which is very-
GT-ish.
That's what I thought too.
But this was before the
Top.
Opel GT.
Yes, it was. And it was called the Mach 2 concept. Several cars with the Mach name later appeared in regular production. The shape layout was quite unique, and yes, I thought about the Opel as well. The Mustang II is a two-seater, long hood, short rear end, mid-engine configuration, affordable version of the GT40 race car, and the stunning red paint. But, of course, this is black and white.
In black and white.
Yeah. Okay, this is the one that really doesn't have a good prototype heritage, but it's a Ford Mustang Boss 429 rear engine.
Rear engine.
Put a rear engine. The most interesting Mustang prototypes, even though it didn't appear on the circuit, like I said, in the 60s, it caused a lot of controversies. Basically, the 69 Boss 429 with an engine in the trunk. Now, they did make it work, and Ford turned the rear glass into a hatchback for the accessibility to the engine, and the whole conversion was surprisingly trouble-free. The Boss 429 had a 40-60 weight balance, which is good. But it added the weight over the rear axle, and it reduced wheel spin. But that's really a picture of the Boss 429. The last one, which is my favorite, and I dream about this car all the time, 76 Mustang wagon. Look at that.
That's still in the crate.
That's the Huckleberry there. I'm telling you what. 76, Ford decided to play around with the idea of a Mustang wagon. They decided to base it on the Mustang 2 platform. Come on, give it a break. Equipped it with a roof rack. Awesome. Wood grain, incredible.
Yeah.
And in those days, the Chevrolet Vega had a 3-door station wagon, so Ford wanted to compete in that market. They wanted to put their little footprint in there. However, Mustang fans are grateful that this car never went beyond the concept, which I'm very disappointed in those folks.
Now they have the Mach-E wagon.
Yeah, now they do. Typical 70s fashion. It would have killed any sporty characteristics even back then. The Mustang II had almost destroyed the Mustang's reputation in the 60s, so a wagon version was the same.
Got to remember they had the King Cobra Mustang too that Farrah Fawcett advertised for.
That's right, she did. But the wagon, I'm a wagon guy. Yeah.
Dragon wagon.
All I could think of, what was the Buick station wagon? The great big, humongous.
Safari?
No.
that was a Pontiac.
Roadmaster.
Was it a Roadmaster wagon?
Yes.
A Roadmaster wagon.
That's a
I had a
beautiful
friend of mine had one, and the transmission was going out on it, and it went out when we were out watching the rodeo trail riders out. I don't know, Simonton. They were out way out there in the middle of nowhere. This little bitty country bumpkin gas station out there at the intersection. We waited and waited and waited, and they finally went by and got into this Roadmaster. And we added at least a gallon of transmission fluid to make it back to his house, and ultimately he had to replace the transmission in it. But my God, it was swallowing. I never knew a transmission could go through that much transmission fluid, but it was pouring out of it as fast as we could put it in.
I love station wagons.
Yep, I'm a wagon fan as well.
You know, I can see you hawking the BG stuff out of a station wagon. Why can't I see
I could
that?
too.
Kind of like a shoe sale.
Well, you got to think the configuration of the rear passenger compartment for wagons. You know, they had the rear-facing one.
Yep.
They had the gates that dropped down into the bumper.
Yep.
They had them that
Full
opened
roll
up
down.
like a door.
Yep.
They had the Ford Country Squire where you sat on the sides facing each other.
Yep.
You know, they had the third row that was facing forward. You know, there was a lot of different configurations of wagons.
I was watching a TV show last week or two, and they had a Pontiac hearse, and I teared up. It was amazing.
Well, maybe when it's time for you to go, maybe we could get you in the Pontiac.
Find one for you.
Hey, the In Wheel Time Car Show streams on the iHeart app, Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts available from your favorite podcast channel. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break.
Starting to work on your Christmas calendar? Be sure to add the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In Saturday, December 17th. You'll want to attend Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition, Saturday, December 17th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the Christmas season with friends and family at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, December 17th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting.
Hey, Houston, America's greatest hot rod tradition is back. Thanksgiving weekend. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama at the George Hart Brown Convention Center. 4 action-packed days of hot rods, customs, classics, trucks, performance cars, and live music. Do not miss the Ultimate Lowrider Showcase, sponsored by Shorty's Hydraulics and the Traditional Rod Garage. Saturday only, it's the Tuner Galleria with 250 imports, ADM, and luxury cars, plus music and models on the celebrity stage presented by Nick's Auto Repair and Classic Car Restoration. Meet Bad Chad and wife Jolene from Bad Chad Customs on Friday. Saturday, it's Dave Kindig from TV's Bitch and Rise. Sunday, it's Danny Coker and Kevin Mack from TV's Counting Cars. Shop the swap meet and women's world all weekend. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama. November 25th to 28th at the George Hart Brown Convention Center. Discount tickets at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Part of the Summer Racing Equipment Show Car Series. See Autorama.com for more info.
The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk.
Yes, friends, it is the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. This segment, Patrick Olson from Carfax joins us to talk about all things used. Conrad will have the In Wheel Time Car Clinic, and we'll also take a look at this week's auto news in this half hour. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world Mars, King Conrad yawning DeLong, and we need more Jeff Zekin. And I'm Don Armstrong. We're all here for you today, along with Patrick Olson from Carfax. Patrick, good morning to you, and thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
Well. Where do we start? Where do we start with the used car market? That things have kind of gone upside down. They were getting record prices for used cars a month ago, and now not so much. We've heard that some used car lots, 20 to 30% less money these days than it was. Drop in value than it was just recently.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see. Consumers for a long time, I think, were holding off on buying cars, and I think that dealers have finally burned through the inventory they had, and now they're seeing more inventory coming back, and consumers are waiting for that deal, and that's forcing dealers, I think, to have to figure out a way to move those cars off the lot.
Now, do you see that with the inquiries that you get at Carfax?
Absolutely. So last year when stimulus money came out, tax refunds came out, we saw a huge demand for used cars. This year, it's been a little quieter, and so I think consumers have been leery of overpaying too much and afraid of the depreciation of what might come. And now I think dealers are having to respond to that.
Do you think that the prices are going to continue to drop for a while?
It's hard to say. As new cars finally get the chips that they've been missing, the new car inventories opens up a little bit more. I think it's going to make consumers make some choices about do they want to buy used or they want to buy new.
Well, that's what I was
So
wondering.
I don't think it'll be a plummet, but I think there certainly will be an erosion in the high prices of used car over time.
Because if to me, if the new cars are now becoming available, those people, like you say, that were looking at maybe a 1 or 2 year old used car, they may go back to looking at new cars because now they have that option.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I will say this to your point is that the average price of new cars has gone up considerably over a year ago. So there's that balance there that you've got to look at your pocketbook and go, okay, am I willing to stick my neck out and pay a lot more for, well, in most cases, interest rates? Or do I stick with what I got, or do I go to the used car market where I can get probably more for the money?
And then who's incentivizing what? You know, you got to look at manufacturers' incentives have somewhat gone away until just recently, and now they're starting back up. And you're seeing finance incentives, and you're seeing discount cash on the hood, again, trying to drive that market of selling new.
Yeah.
So, Patrick, let me ask you. So, my experience watching my kids has been that they don't look necessarily at, like Don said, the price has gone up significantly. The price has gone up, but what did that do to my car note? They seem always to me, and I think it's a mistake personally, but they always look at the car note. If my car note only goes up $5 or $10 because that new car costs more now, then that's no big deal. I'll take it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people buy at a monthly budget and they don't think about the long-term cost. And frankly, they're less concerned about extending the length of the loan. I mean, you know, the average now is like 66, 67 months for a loan, where it used to be, you know, not that long ago, 48 months. So I think a lot of people think, it's just part of my budget. And so I'll extend it out some. And of course, cars, thankfully, are more reliable than they've ever been. And, you know, the average age of a car now is like 12 years on the road. So they're not as concerned. Like 30 years ago when I was buying a car, I was very concerned if cars would make it to 100,000 miles. Today, 200, 300, not out of the realm of the possible. So I think people are happier. Happy is a funny word there, are more willing to extend that car loan because they know the car should last them easily that long.
What is the average price of a used vehicle in the most popular category? I'm going to assume that it's going to be a mid-size SUV.
That's absolutely the most popular category. I don't have a specific price, but I think for used, I think it's somewhere in the $30,000 range.
Does the formula still exist for every $1,000 of car price? It's a $20 car payment for every $1,000. If it's $2,000, it's you base it on that, the formula.
Yeah, I'm not that far in the weeds on pricing of cars.
Yeah, I would think probably the interest rate would have a bigger play on that.
That's true too. Yeah.
Yeah. And we've seen interest rates really come into play these days. And to Conrad's point about manufacturer incentives, I'm now seeing that in some vehicles, and here in Texas, it's mainly trucks, that I saw one just yesterday, as a matter of fact, $8,000 off of MSRP, and not 0% financing per se, but it's like 1% or 10%, something like that. It's low.
Yeah, I think there was a point this summer when I was looking at rebates and deals with one of the guys who works for me. And he said, we are down from a year ago or a year and a half ago, 200 plus cars, 200 plus models having 0% of financing to like 40 models at 0% financing. And now we're starting to see that go back up and OEMs in particular are trying to create more financing. What's funny is the OEMs are trying really hard to limit production, but for too many of them, I think they see building the most cars as a point of pride. And they have to balance that with making their dealers happy, because if there's fewer cars, dealers get a better margin or a better price on the car. And we've definitely seen in the past when automakers overproduce, it kind of buries dealers in inventory and drives down the price of the car, which dealers, of course, not wild about.
And one of the things about Carfax, you had mentioned earlier about the, used to be a 100,000-mile car, now it's a 200,000 or 300,000-mile car. Well, one of the bits of data you get from Carfax is the service history to go along with it,
Yes.
if it's reported. And that's quite valuable to the used car buyer, is to see what the maintenance history and repair history of that vehicle is that comes in.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we see on average for cars that have proof of being well maintained that over time they're worth about $2,000 more when it comes time to resell than cars where you don't have that proof of service, right? And so it's definitely both in the interest of the owner, frankly, to keep their car up, right? So we have some recent data. We haven't published it, but we're going to publish soon. That says something like 30% of cars are behind on their oil change. Nearly half are behind on their tire rotation.
Oh, boy.
And so owners are not keeping up with what they need to do. And it's not just saving your car now. It's getting that value down the road. When you go to resell it, you're missing the opportunity to make sure that, it's money out of your pocket today, but it's going to be money in your pocket tomorrow.
And the longevity of the vehicle as well.
Yes, absolutely.
If you wanted to go 250, 300,000 miles, you have to maintain it.
That's right.
Yep.
One of the things that I wanted to kind of go over, because we have some listeners that may not really understand what Carfax really does and how they do it. If you could explain that to us, for the person that doesn't, they've heard of Carfax, they see
Sure.
the ads on TV, but really don't know exactly how it works and why it's important.
Sure. So the heart of Carfax is really the data that we get on all these cars. And we are fast approaching 30 billion records that we have in our database. We're not there yet, but I think we'll get there soon. But the bottom line is we work with dealers, we work with service shops, we work with insurance companies and other agencies, more than 115,000 sources of data. And so what we do is we track all that for consumers. And so if you buy a Carfax vehicle history report on a car you're considering, or even the car you're selling, right? If you want to sell your car to a dealer or to a private party, you want to show them all the things that you've done to your car. You want to be a transparent seller. So we use that data to create those reports. But we're beyond that too. We have what we call our history-based value, which takes all of that specific data to your car. So if you go to another site that offers a value, they may look at your year, the make, the model, how many miles you have, what the relative condition of it is. Well, we look at all of that. Plus, we look at how often was it serviced? Was it ever in an accident? Was the accident minor or was the accident severe? Have you ever had hail damage, right? And we're weighing a lot more factors around the value, and we're looking at it in your zip code. So we're looking at what is your value in your market. If you're trying to sell a truck in Texas, that's a very different thing than if you're trying to sell a truck in New York City, right? The values are going to be very different depending on the laws of supply and demand. So we can also come up with a value for your car that you can use when you're ready to trade it in. And then finally, with our used car listings, what's great about them is every listing on the site has a free vehicle history report. So you don't have to pay for it. You get it right from the dealer to be able for you to check on the history of that car. So we're kind of a 360, look at the history of that car, of where it's been, what it's worth, and, helping you figure out which of those cars are the ones you want to buy.
How much does a Carfax report cost?
One costs $40, but if you buy three, it's three, I think, for $60 today, and then you get six for $100. And if you're looking to buy a car, typically you're looking at more than one car. So for me, better to buy a bunch, so I can save money on that, and look at a bunch of reports.
I did not know that I could sell my car on Carfax.
You can't. Let me be clear. We only have dealer listings on Carfax. But you can sell your car using a Carfax to help other buyers see where you've been.
I see. So used car dealers can list their cars on Carfax.
That's correct. Right. Okay. Whether they're an OEM shop or they're an independent, just a used car only lot.
So on the retained value of vehicles, which is a little thing, something that you guys really delve into, how are you analyzing the retained value of an internal combustion engine versus a pure EV. What's the value difference?
Well, I would say right now we're in our infancy, right? Because there are so few EVs in the market compared to internal combustion engines that it's really hard to say the difference yet.
The other way.
But we definitely see more and more people coming up with EVs, and we're certainly paying attention. I was in a meeting just this week where we're talking about how do we want to look at EVs? How do we want to think about them? What are the data points we need to provide the users that they're not already getting? So it's an exploding area. All these automakers are talking about lots and lots of models by 2030, but at the moment, there's not a lot of differentiation.
So I'm confused. So I go into a dealership and I want to buy a car. They show me the Carfax, but I have to buy that from them?
No.
Okay,
So
that's where I'm confused.
if you go to a dealership and they show you the Carfax, that's them. Or if you go to a dealership where you found the car in Carfax used car listings, the VHR is free there. But if you're buying from a private party and you want the Carfax vehicle history report, then you have to buy it, or you could ask the guy selling it to buy it for you, which is kind of a sign of good faith and transparency.
That's where you were talking about buying multiple, because
Yes.
I'm looking for a car, and I've got 3 of them that I
Right.
want to choose between. So I want the Carfax on all 3 of them, so I can use that as part of my decision-making process.
Absolutely. Like if you find that Mustang wagon, you want to check it out, make sure it's started out as a Mustang wagon.
Now you're talking. Man,
You
into my own
want that
heart.
car. I can
want
tell
it.
by the look on your face.
Oh boy.
Does Carfax have any data on diminished value for cars that have been in wrecks? Do you guys support that information for, say, an insurance claim?
Well, I don't know if we do it for the insurance claim, but we can tell you just by what we've seen that for cars with minor cosmetic damage, it's about a $500 hit to the value of a car. For cars with severe damage, it could be $1,500 to $2,000 off the value of the car.
So you look at it in this regard. Here's what the value is. Now, what you do with that information is kind of up to you.
Yes, that's right. And it's a negotiating point, and it's neither the starting nor the finish point, right? You've got to decide, and who you're negotiating with, how much you're going to do with that number.
Right. Yeah. So it's part of that. Can we back up to your data collection process?
Sure.
You mentioned the independent shops. So I get the oil changed in my truck because it's disposing of oil nowadays is ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. So I take it someplace and have it done.
Yeah.
And it's an independent shop. I mean, if I were to get a Carfax on my truck to sell it, would that show up, or how would that work?
So we have a lot of deals with a lot of independent shops. We don't have every shop, though. I will tell you that we're always looking to add more. What you can do, though, we have a way in our Car Care app where you can upload the receipt and show people that you've got a receipt for it. It won't show up on the vehicle history report, but you can show proof of that in your own account.
Oh, okay.
So that you can save that information into your own account.
Because the repair shops have to report to Carfax. It doesn't
Yes.
automatically
And many do,
happen.
but not
Right.
all.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I
they
guess
have- they
that
have
would
to
be a question for them. Is this information going up to
Right.
Carfax? And
Well, and to be honest, that's where consumers can take the reins and ask the shop manager, hey, I would like you to work with Carfax because this now shows up on my vehicle history report and I'm going to get more money down the road.
Right.
And because you do that, I'm more willing to come back to your shop to get my service here because I know that it's a virtuous cycle, right? I do the work, I pay for it, it keeps the truck going, but in the end, I want to get paid off for that. And you can help me do that, Mr. Service Shop owner.
So
see
my
it.
my
Yeah,
question is, you buy a car, and you go to your insurance company. You say, "This is my new car. I want to move all my insurance policies over." Are they in any way obligated, or should they be, or can they be obligated through an insurance company to say, "Did you get a Carfax report?" Would that help you, or not?
I've never heard of an insurance company asking for one. I always think more data in hand is more useful than not. I've never been in a situation, FICO scores, right, or whatever. The more data I've had, the better off I've been. So, I don't think insurance companies require it or demand it, or even financing companies for that matter.
Well, I would think that they would want it to better.
But it's
to get
not
a
the
better
worst
deal.
idea.
Yeah.
Interesting, yeah, because I could see more of a finance company wanting to make sure the value's there.
Do you have a Carfax on my 2001 Corvette?
Absolutely.
You
We
do?
have going back to 1983 is how far back we go.
Wow. So,
Yeah.
if you're looking for a car that's 21 years old, you can probably get a Carfax on that.
You can absolutely get a Carfax on that, yes.
But it's written in
assuming
stone.
that it's still in operation, right? If, check the VIN. And, I won't say we have, 100%, but we've got 99 point, I don't know how many % chance that we've got it from all the way back to 83.
That is truly amazing. Because let's just say, for instance, that the little old lady that lives down the street that goes to church and goes to the grocery store once a week, that has hardly any miles on her 1985 Oldsmobile, and she's wanting to sell it because she can't drive anymore.
You can get a Carfax on
I
it.
can get a Carfax on it.
Champagne color.
Yeah. So, at any rate, well, Patrick, it's great to talk to you. Thank you so much for explaining all this to us. We really appreciate it. I know that this is going to get lots of hits on YouTube.
Great information.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it truly is. And thank you very much. And we'll hope to check in with you in another 6 months or so and find out how the used car market's going.
Carfax.com.
Amen. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
bet.
Hey,
Thank
we'd
you.
love to hear from you, too. Just shoot us an email. The address is info@nwheeltime.com. Time now for Conrad's Car Clinic.
All right.
Well, today we're going to talk a little bit about hybrid vehicles. Hybrid vehicle owners are all about fuel economy and decreased emissions. Don't overlook the combustion engines in hybrid vehicles. Your customers may not understand that their HEV still needs to be serviced on the combustion engine side of things because, like we just talked with Carfax, without proper maintenance, the important benefits of a hybrid vehicle that they provide can be lost and serious problems can develop. Why do hybrid vehicles need to be serviced? All hybrid vehicles have that start-stop feature that you hate.
Yep.
Well, that start-stop feature can promote instability in the fuel, can promote carbonizing of the intake valves in the combustion chamber. They can have an effect on the acceleration of oxidation of the fuel and corrosion of the fuel in the gas tank.
It's hard on an engine.
It's very hard on an engine, and additionally that start-stop causes hot and cold fluctuations that can lower the average crankcase temperature, so the oil never really gets hot. And the oil needs to get hot so it purges whatever moisture's in there.
Hot like me.
That it evaporates, yes. And the best way to prevent a hybrid vehicle problem is with regular preventative maintenance. And it should be considered based, my opinion, on hours, not necessarily mileage.
Good point, especially in sitting in traffic all the time.
Correct. Hybrid electric vehicles are powered by an electric motor, generally is the propulsion piece to it, but the internal combustion engine still needs to be maintained. The battery power reduces combustion engine use when it's not needed, but idling at stoplights and that start-stop is really detrimental to
Let me ask you a question about that. So I've got a hybrid, and they recommend that I change the oil every 6,000 miles. You're saying maybe perhaps I need to go to 5,000 or 4,000 miles on my oil change.
Or based on time.
Well, I know, but
Yeah.
there's not a timer in the car on the amount of time the
not
engine is
Yeah,
running.
I would shorten the mileage on it because of the start-stop feature. You got to remember that start-stop feature dilutes the oil with fuel, because the way that they restart most of these is not a starter starting, is they stop the engine at an exact point, spray fuel and ignite the spark to push the engine down. Well, that happens and you get fuel dilution of the engine oil. So that again deters damages the engine oil short term. So changing it more frequently, I think, is a better idea. Since the gasoline engine doesn't run as often in a hybrid, it doesn't need as much attention, right? Wrong. Again, that start-stop feature is detrimental to the engine oil and the heat cycling of the engine oil. HEVs can actually accelerate conditions and then, in turn, reduce the fuel economy and loss of power and poor throttle response. and these problems can be prevented with regular maintenance on your HEV. And I don't think enough people recognize that an HEV can require additional maintenance, even though you're running on electric all the time. The other thing is E85 engines. If you're running E85, you need to change your oil at 3,000 miles.
At E85 engine, do they have that in an actual hybrid?
Oh yeah.
They do?
Yeah, you can get
Oh,
E85.
It
But most,
seems
I don't think many people are actually running E85 fuel.
it just seems to be like that's kind of counterproductive.
Well, it's compounding the problem.
Well, besides that, it's also costing you more money in fuel.
Because
it sucks
E85s
more.
get horrible fuel economy.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Thank you, sir. Well, back to Carlos, as I call him, Gosen. I think that
Oh,
his
boy.
real name is Gone.
We should
but
have him on the
I
show.
like Gosen better.
Get him on the show, Mike.
Father and son sentenced to serve time in a Japanese prison for smuggling Carlos Gosen out of the country in a large musical equipment case.
Nice.
Were transferred to the U.S. a week ago, ending another chapter of the corporate saga involving the former chairman of Renault and Nissan.
They're getting the band back together.
Michael Taylor, the father and a former U.S. Green Beret, and his son Peter were imprisoned last year after they pleaded guilty to helping the auto industry executive flee trial in late 2019 and make his way to Beirut. Gosen was arrested in Japan in 2018 on charges of underreporting income and other corporate crimes, which he's denied. Federal Bureau of Prisons flew both out of Japan late in October after the two governments agreed to let them serve the remainder of their sentences in the U.S., according to Peter, and was released soon there after arrival. Michael is soon to be set free, pending procedural matters.
Of course.
What prison is he in? Did he come over to?
For no bond bail.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Because we could do a remote, Mike.
We could do a remote.
From prison.
A prison remote.
Prison remote.
We got a federal place right out there in close to my house.
Really?
Yeah.
And you're in it.
Not today.
Not today.
Yeah, right
But
there by
there
the
is
airport.
one out there,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
by the
right
airport.
by the airport.
Yeah.
Speaking of lawsuits, Lucid Group filed a federal lawsuit here in Texas accusing the state's rules on auto dealerships of economic protectionism that hurt the company's ability to sell its electric vehicles here. Well, you know, Tesla has done it since their inception here, and they've done quite well. In a suit filed in Austin, Lucid said the state is acting anti-competitively in forcing companies to sell their products through established dealerships.
Duh.
Newark, California-based company, which markets its vehicles online and through a network of Lucid-owned studios, maintains that its direct sales and in-house after-sales service are so closely tied that using an independent franchise dealer would not be economically viable and would harm the business. BS. The case comes as Lucid struggles to develop its business selling its high-end plug-in Air sedan, which currently retails for more than $100,000. Now, we saw one down at
Was that an Air or was that an Ocean?
No, it was an Air.
It was
an Air.
Stunning
vehicle. Oh, yeah.
Stunningly beautiful car.
It is. It's not my cup of tea, but whatever. Lucid's testing out a similar legal strategy to one tried largely successfully by Tesla in Michigan. After more than 3 years of litigation, the party settled, and Michigan consumers can now buy Tesla vehicles and get them serviced there. Austin, Texas-based Tesla faces similar challenges here in Texas and is unable to sell directly to Texans.
Can you get it?
I have a friend of mine that has one, and he said it was the easiest, smoothest way that he has ever bought a car.
Can you get a Tesla through Carvana? A used one?
Yeah, but they
If
won't
they're still-
pay. They won't pay the note on
They
it.
won't pay. Yeah, they won't get it
We'll
licensed.
find out.
They're
Next
going to
week,
use that money.
We'll find out.
Yeah. Dude, that Carvana. Speaking of, Carvana is set to wipe out more than half of its market value in just 2 trading sessions as the stock plunged to an all-time low on deepening gloom about used car sales.
Time to buy.
Shares of the auto retailer have sunk more than 53% in the 2 trading days since the company reported disappointing third-quarter results late on Thursday, bringing its once lofty market capitalization down to about $1.4 $2.4 billion from $2.6 billion before the earnings miss. That's a far cry from the $60 billion valuation the firm commanded last year. The shares fell 15.6% to close at $7.39.
I bet you all the executives sold out at the $60 billion level.
I want out.
Yep. We'll see ya.
I'm here for your stock, Chuck.
Quick break now. You're on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show.
Starting to work on your Christmas calendar? Be sure to add the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In Saturday, December 17th. You'll want to attend Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition, Saturday, December 17th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the Christmas season with friends and family at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, December 17th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting.
Hey, Houston! America's greatest hot rod tradition is back! Thanksgiving weekend! The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama at the George Hart Brown Convention Center. 4 action-packed days of hot rods, customs, classics, trucks, performance cars, and live music. Do not miss the Ultimate Lowrider Showcase, sponsored by Shorty's Hydraulics, and the Traditional Rod Garage. Saturday only, it's the Tuner Galleria with 250 imports, JDM, and luxury cars, plus music and models. On the celebrity stage, presented by Nick's Auto Repair and Classic Car Restoration, meet Bad Chad and wife Jolene from Bad Chad Customs on Friday. Saturday, it's Dave Kindig from TV's Bitch and Rise. Sunday, it's Danny Coker and Kevin Mack from TV's Counting Cars. Shop the swap meet and women's world all weekend. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama, November 25th to 28th at the George Hart Brown Convention Center. Discount tickets at O'Reilly Auto Parts, part of the Summer Racing Equipment Show Car Series. See Autorama.com for more info.
The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk.
Welcome to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, Mr. Mars reviews the Infiniti QX55.
Sweet.
Well, I was talking to him about that. I didn't know there was a QX55. Conrad, I thought it was a typo. Conrad has the events calendar, and later we talk to Mike Wilson with the Conroe Cruisers Car Club. Plus, we'll have a look at the stories making automotive news headlines this week. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin.
Yes, sir.
Always. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this Saturday. It's our live show from 8 until 11 every Saturday, and then we bust up the live show and put it into podcast form throughout the week, and we post one podcast every 6 days, the seventh day being the live 30-minute podcast. So if you miss part of the show, then you can get it on a podcast.
And the good way to know that is if you subscribe, you'll get notified.
There you go.
Absolutely.
All right. Mr. Mars?
Yes, sir.
We have Autorama coming up. You got all your ducks in a row for that?
Almost.
By the way,
Quack, quack.
I think that when we left the car show last year, I said to you, Mars, we really need to bring a mop next time because those pads that we cobbled together to go underneath our display have gotten dirty over the years.
Yes. Bringing a Swiffer. A Swiffer sweeper.
A wet Swiffer?
Well, it's got the spray bottle.
That's a wet Swiffer.
Well, no, you can buy wet pads that go on there that are soaking wet.
Well, Don has wet pads.
Well, yeah, but I'm not.
Oh boy.
But
Oh no.
These are smaller.
Well, they're just little blocks, aren't they? Little squares. Can't you like power
They're not,
wash them?
yeah.
Or-
What are they?
They're kind of a
3 by
rubber
3 or what are they?
Yeah,
but you
didn't
could, like,
not
didn't
quite
you get
3
them
by
on
3,
discount from a Montessori that closed or something?
No, we got them. Where did we get those? Anyway, we got them.
Well, if Stan comes through, which I think that he will, I think that he's going to bring the, what is it, a 38 Buick? Well,
30. I think
Is he
it's
bringing that
38.
to Autorama?
well, that's what we've asked. And he said, sure, whatever we want. But, you know, I exchanged text with him, but he's out in Pomona racing.
Yeah.
And so it was a little bit difficult for him, I think, to spare the time to get on the phone with him.
Maybe bring his race car. That'd be cool.
Well, we could do that too. Whatever. He's got enough cars. He says, what car you want? I don't know. But the one that my daughter and her now husband went off from their wedding in.
Aaron?
It was a stunningly beautiful Buick. I don't know if you ever
Yeah,
saw
I've seen it. I've seen it.
You've seen it? And it came
Bit of
out
a gangster car.
Yep. And it came out of a museum. And it is that kind of a restoration. This thing looks better than when it came out of the showroom.
With the mohair interior.
butter.
Yeah, it is truly stunningly beautiful.
Or if he's got a station wagon, we'll take that too.
They're not a problem. It will be shoved down in the corner. We may have to all sit side by side on this table as opposed to that one.
We could do it from the back of the station wagon.
We could.
That's what I thought.
Don Armstrong could crawl in the back of the station wagon, and I'll just
Put
use a
Jeff
hand.
on the luggage roof.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'd love that. Yeah, that'd be great. What do you think?
Yeah.
Are you good with that?
I'm in.
You're not even
I'm
going
in
to be there.
California. It doesn't
You're
matter
gonna
to
be
me.
there.
So, what possessed you to go out to California during the most?
It's Thanksgiving
I know,
with my
but you
family.
typically don't do that.
No, usually we'd stay here, but this
Yeah.
year we're
Last year
going
they were
there.
here.
What do you have planned out there besides Thanksgiving
Little
dinner?
vino. Got a little vino.
Oh yeah,
going
we'll
on?
always stomp some grapes out there.
Oh yeah.
I can see you and
Might make
stomping grapes.
might make a trip to Yosemite.
Is it going to be kind of like the I Love Lucy grape stomping episode?
Absolutely.
With you in it?
You wouldn't happen to be maybe stopping by the Pelosi's when you're out there, would you?
No, they're up in Napa.
Because you can get hammered there.
He said that.
He did.
So you know, they said that
thought it was pretty good.
he got his skull bashed, and it broke his skull. I guess. What is there a dent up there now?
I still think Nancy paid the guy to do it.
You think so?
Oh yeah,
He had to have his skull bashed before he married her in order to do that. I mean, in my opinion.
different story.
For a-
But yeah, I'll
for
be.
another day.
We'll be. I think Austin's coming down, so it'll be the four of us as a family.
So where are
plus
you actually going?
Austin's
What part of
fiancé.
California?
Fresno.
Fresno.
Oh, so you're not going to the wine country?
No. Well, there's wine and there's wineries.
You're not
in
going to go to
Fresno.
Napa.
No, we're not
There's
going to
wine
Napa
everywhere
or
out
Sonoma
there.
or anything.
Well, you've probably been to Napa hundreds of times.
Well, we've been to
Yeah.
Napa quite a few times.
And didn't your
Napa's,
daughter work for a company
She
that
was
was
general
up in that area?
manager of Ironstone Vineyards.
Yeah, there you go.
Up there in Murphy's, California, and they're a pretty big bottler for lots of other people as well.
I don't know. What are you doing down there?
I've lost
Mars?
my power.
Lost power.
Well, that's that.
No, you're good down here, sir.
Well, that's okay. While you guys futz with that, you know we have such high tech
down.
equipment here.
Something had to go.
If it weren't, is that the cord?
Yes.
Well, the dog has chewed on it.
No.
No, she's smarter than that.
Okay. Well, I'll let you guys mess with that, but I need to have a conversation with.
Let's have a conversation.
Well, good. So let them worry about that. Let's have a conversation. Go ahead. Start.
Well, let's talk about going to the Pelosi's. Get
Let's not
hammered
talk
on
about the
this.
Pelosi's. I don't give a damn about the Pelosi's.
Okay,
Mike, you're
so,
good.
So the question becomes, my car review.
What about it?
I'm stalling.
Well,
trying to
we're
figure
not
out
we're
how to
not
make
it
we're
better
not
right
going to
there.
do the car review
we
until
got-
20 after.
I understand, but we got somebody coming in, and this computer takes a long time to get hooked up. And once it
Oh, you want to
does-
do the car review first, is what you're saying?
No, I'm just stalling.
You got
Well, I'll tell you what.
bucos of juice.
One of us has to leave to figure out where the power problem is, and so which one is it going to be? Is it going to be Conrad, Jeff, or me to get your power back on your computer?
Well,
Did
I was
you pay
hoping
the
that
bill,
Jeff
Mike?
could do it,
Well, we're all.
but it
Everything's
seems like it's taking more and more people to see.
My
How many
God.
people to see take
Well,
to
I
see
mean,
if we're
it-
plugged
it
in?
has
You want to go to
disconnected.
commercial break? We'll
It has
do this.
disconnected, Jeff. There is
We're-
no wire on
All
the
right.
other side of that black box.
Well, just a moment. Let me get, and don't get any smart-ass ideas because I'm
right,
getting
let me see
down
it.
on my knees
Let me see
underneath
it.
the table.
Well,
okay?
while you're on your knees,
Shut up.
We'll talk about
Hell, I can't even
December,
get down there.
December 4th and the Ferrari Festival. For all the Ferrari fans,
Yeah, all those Ferrari people that are watching us.
they're coming out to support the Texas Children's Cancer Center.
Oh, my God. Well, it's come unplugged down here.
And well, probably Susie's kind of run
Well,
over.
Yeah, I think so.
And they're gonna there's gonna be a $5 donation to
Hold that.
enter just
Hold
to
it.
see the vehicles, and a $20 donation to enter your car. But 100% of the proceeds are going directly to the Texas Children's Cancer and Hematology Centers, and a well-worthy cause. And I'll be honest with you, in Houston, there is a huge collection
What
of
are y'all doing
Ferraris.
down
So
there?
Shut up.
Sunday, December 4th, in the River
That's
Oaks
not it,
District, again benefiting the Texas Children's Cancer Center, supported by Ferrari of Houston, Jewelers of River Oaks, Zeus and Lending,
Zeus.
and Private Client Services Champagne.
That's not it.
Madame Zero. Not real sure who that is, but that's an interesting.
Madame
name.
Zero.
Madame Zero.
Don't you have to pay extra for that at the corner?
Yeah, but all of the proceeds
It's the
go
one
to
in the red
Children's
light district.
Hematology, Cancer and Hematology.
All right, as long as the money's going to a good cause.
That's not it.
But
That's
Houston's
not
got
it.
a great collection of truly unique and collectible Ferraris, and I know that all of them will be there. Not just the
this one?
new stuff,
What's this one?
but some of the
Found
older
it.
stuff. Some of the older stuff will be there as well.
Don't touch it.
And the older stuff, like an F40, I know Grady's going to bring his F40
Wait.
out.
Do this.
Blow on it.
Do it up here.
You know, there's
you go. Yeah, it
a
feels,
collection
feels
of
a lot better
Lamborghinis.
there.
I know it. Was it good for
Pay,
you?
pay no attention to the two men under the table.
Was it good
did
for
you
you?
plug it in?
It should. You should have power now, Mike.
I need a cigarette.
Fire in the hole. We got it. No, wait. It went away. You got it
Well, you
plugged
got-
in good?
Real good.
I'm feeling it.
Yeah, here it is. We're good. We're good. We're good.
Do I have to hold it?
Friends, I wish that you could
For
see
Don, yes.
underneath this table is a. Let me put it this way. I worked with a guy by the name of O.B. Johnson.
It looks like the garbage dump at Buca de Beppo with all the spaghetti thrown on the floor.
Well, it's not quite like that. This is more of a wiring issue. And this man was in charge of a radio station. So you can imagine the number of wires. You would open up the computer flooring and you'd look under there and it'd be one of these things. Well, where does that wire go? Well, I don't know. Nothing was
Wiggle
labeled.
it.
Nothing was bundled. No, nothing. You're probably familiar with that in some of those mechanical rooms where all of your telephone crap came in. Yeah.
Seen it?
Well, that's why we just pull on the wire, and you look for it on that end to see what moves.
The only problem
only to
is-
figure out the power plug was disconnected.
If it
from it.
jiggles,
Is that
it's off.
Is that, as you know, when you have a laptop computer, it has two plugs. One goes into the transformer, and the other one goes into the wall. The transformer is kind of like your connection point. Well, guess what? The wire fell out of the transformer. Try to find the end of it underneath this spaghetti
Yeah,
thing here.
it was a
Oh,
challenge.
yeah.
Guess whose fault it is?
Mike's.
Don's.
I'm not over there. You two are over there.
Yeah. Who wired this up?
I only laid out the initial wiring.
Okay.
Well, wait
we
just
go.
Y'all
wait,
keep- y'all
wait
keep
just
messing with it.
wait just a minute. I want to show you something.
No.
No, don't be messing with it.
No, you got to
You'll
look at the other
disconnect
side.
something.
Everything's
no,
gonna
don't pull
come
that.
apart.
Oh no!
Shut up.
If we go off the air, it's your fault.
This is part of what's down there. Can you see that? What is this? What is this?
Those
Those
are the
are
old video
HDMI
cameras.
cables.
Uh-oh, here comes
They are-
Suze. Suze is walking through.
Here, Sis.
yeah.
You got some wires, baby.
She's going to disconnect them.
There you go.
Or
So
chew on
that's
them.
what we have to deal with here. So I just thought that
So
we'd
when we
get
redo
sidetracked
the
a little bit.
studio, we'll take out all that old wiring that's not being used anymore because we've changed
Don't.
it out.
George, you're right. This portion of In Wheel Time brought to you by the Three Stooges.
I'm glad I'm not in that. Suze, you have to go that way. Go
Hey,
that
I
way.
want to give a shout out to all of George Skelton's family because all of them are in the military. Happy Veterans Day. Thank them all for their service.
Absolutely.
And thank everybody else for your service for Veterans Day as well. We really appreciate you defending the freedom of our country.
I
putting your
love
lives on the line.
Hemmings Motor News. Okay, and they've got a great online presence on there. Well, a couple of weeks ago, they had this thing called Sold Cars Roundup. And I thought it would be interesting to go through some of these. So people put their, generally speaking, classic cars, older cars, collectible cars, some not so much. And I'd like to, these were all sold, okay, on Hemmings.
Are we going to guess the price?
Here is a 1996 Chevrolet 2500 LT Suburban. Okay?
96.
Sold for $10,500. It's a driver, but it's a 3/4 ton. Do they still make Suburban 3/4 tons? I don't think they do.
so.
No.
How about this one? The 63 Chevrolet Corvette Stingray Coupe with its original 327 and 3-speed transmission.
3-speed. Actually, that's a little rare.
15 grand.
50, 55, 60.
$131,250.
It's a little more rare than what you thought.
Here's one. This is for you, Jeff. A customized 1967 Chevy Chevelle 300 sold for $21,000.
It's more Kathy
Or
style. Kathy
here,
had a
my
Malibu.
old car, my 1977 Chevrolet Corvette. Now, I don't know all the details. I don't mean miles it's got on it, all that.
It's a 77 Corvette.
$8,324.
They got a lot of money for that.
Yeah, for no horsepower. Two-owner, 1988 Cadillac Sedan DeVille with less than 27,000 miles. How
88.
much did it go for?
$6 grand.
5 grand.
$8,000.
Okay.
They got all
But
the
would
money
you
for
buy
that.
it?
No.
You
Not
wouldn't?
an 88.
Why not?
No. I'd
Because
do
probably
78.
every hose is rotted off of it, and it's an 88.
78
It's
Eldo
an early,
Barrettes.
it's the 88.
Convertible. White with blood red
It's
interior.
an early North Star car.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oof.
Stop.
How about a 1998 Ford Mustang Cobra convertible from a 20-year owner? How much?
35, 40.
$10,500.
Oh, that's a steal. That's a good price.
Yeah, but what
For
year
a
was
true
it?
for a true Cobra?
1998.
Yeah, but that was isn't that where you get the Mustang too? Wasn't that a
No.
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 Here's a picture of it. You can
And
look
you
at
know,
it.
Mecum's going on right now in Vegas. I watched a little bit of that yesterday.
Here is one that I thought, now I'm not a Ford guy, okay? But a 1963 Ford Galaxy 500 XL convertible.
Oh, man.
Convertible. Beautiful car.
$9 grand.
Huge.
9 grand.
No, not quite. $27,000. But it was beautiful.
You left off the 71 Oldsmobile 442
did that on
with a
purpose.
period correct 455 that sold for $42,000.
He left
Would
it
you
off.
would you pay $42,000
No, that's too much money.
for it?
No.
How much did you pay for yours?
20.
There you
20
go.
bucks. There you
You're
go.
halfway there.
It's about what I paid for mine. Restored 1943 Willys. It's actually pronounced Willis. Willis
What you talking about?
military Jeep, 1943 restored. How much?
They probably stole it from the Army,
Probably.
shipped it home
A
piece
piece
by
at a
piece.
time.
But it-
yeah.
Radar
did that.
O'Reilly.
22.
And I have to tell you that it's got that weird looking top on it. Of course, they were kind of weird looking, to begin with. It's sold for fully restored now, $29,925.
Wow.
Close. 22.
$30,000 for an
Probably
old Jeep.
cost $1,000.
There's no
to
market
build
for them.
back
Nobody
in the
wants them
day.
anymore.
Can't buy any parts
Yeah.
for them. This is for you, Jeff, the 1998 Mazda B3000 4x4, which is basically the Ford Ranger, $8,000.
Wow, that's
That's
too
a lot
much
of
money.
money.
Yeah, that's way over.
Or here's one for you, Conrad. An ex-University of Notre Dame, 1958, Peter Pierce 85-foot aerial ladder truck. It's a fire truck. How much?
30.
17,693. How are you going to get it back here, though? You're going to have to get
slowly.
slowly.
A lot of gas.
Yeah, lots of gas, if it's even that.
Or
It may
diesel,
be
You have to
different.
put it on a low boy to bring it back.
This is the one that I had for you. Okay, forget that one. Personal Luxury Plus Performance, 1966 Oldsmobile Starfire.
Oh, cool car.
Yeah.
How much?
66.
$15,750, and it looks good. There it is.
Yeah, let's see that.
They had some beautiful stainless steel trim on them. They were just.
When
a
did they
good-looking
stop
car.
using stainless steel?
Oh, I'd say probably
75.
Yeah, maybe even a little earlier than that.
Wasn't this the basis of the vehicle that we saw, the Barretts, George Barrett's that we had the gentleman on?
No, that was a Tornado.
Okay. Because it's very similar.
This is for you, Jeffrey.
Okay.
A 1965 AMC Rambler American 330 station wagon.
That's it. That's a tearjerker there.
36 years owned.
Yeah.
So one guy's owned the car for 36 years.
$10,000.
$8,000. That, sir, is your next collector car.
Yeah.
There you go. Keep
Thank
that.
Jeff and the Rambler.
How about this one? This one really surprised me. A 1963 Buick Riviera.
Okay.
What would you? Now that's the first year of production. 1963 Buick Riviera.
$100,000.
Probably a 401 nailhead. I'd say 2022.
$11,528.
Spent too much money on that one.
And finally, a recently refreshed 1996 Ford F-150 XL pickup truck. How much?
What year?
A 1996.
Trucks are insane as far as their retained value. 15.
Sold price
Nine.
$6,800.
Thinking
Now,
$9,000.
I don't know where these cars are. They're all over the United States. And it could be a rust bucket. It looks pretty good. Doesn't look like a rust bucket. But who's to say? So you got to fly there if you think that that's what you want.
And drive it home.
And drive it home.
Or ship it.
And those are through what? Carvana, you said?
No.
No. This is Hemmings. No, there's no Carvana other than a jail. That's the only place. You got it? Mm-hmm. Time now for this hour's car review. It's Mr. Marr's turn. He's been chomping at the bit, getting his computer ready, and us fixing the damn wiring for him.
Thank you.
Infiniti QX55. Go.
So this is the 2023 Infiniti QX55. Now this is available in 3 trim levels. You got the Luxe, Essential, and the Sensory, which we had the Essential. So this is a mid-trim level, all-wheel drive. Which, by the way, I did figure out it's very much, it runs on front-wheel drive unless the computer senses it needs the rear tires to kick it in. So it's not really a four-wheel drive, and to me, it's not really an all-wheel drive because they don't all run at the same time. But anyway, that's kind of one of their deals.
It's a some-wheel drive.
Some wheel drive, yes. So this is actually a compact luxury SUV. We were talking earlier about the QX50. This is actually it's on the same platform, but they've done some restyling on the outside of it. So it's like at the back where the rear roof goes back on a lot of these SUVs. It's kind of squared off to give you some headroom and cargo room. This one is one of them that drops down. You can see in the picture it almost
Slanted
drops
back like a
down
sedan.
into like
Can
a
you
fastback.
can you get in it without having to duck your head?
Well, you lose some rear seat headroom, definitely, and some cargo space in it.
I'm out.
But up front, you're going to find a lot of nice features that you're going to expect from an Infiniti. You're going to find LED lighting package all the way around, including adaptive headlights. Got rain censoring wipers, and that's running across some acoustic glass that's in the vehicle to kind of help quieten it down. Got reverse tilting side mirrors when you put it in reverse, roof rails, power lift gate, rolling on some nice 20-inch wheels. Now, you roll into the inside of it. It's got leather seating surfaces. The front seats are heated and ventilated. The rear seats slide and recline, so you can adjust them several different ways, and they will fold down flat. You're also going to have the touchscreen in the middle, where you're going to find your Infiniti InTouch system, which is all your convenience controls and accessories, and access to the Bose 16-speaker Performance Series audio system. Works really nice. And I really liked it because to me, it was very user-friendly, the way it was laid out and the way you could reach things. It was all within reach. You didn't have to stretch or get out of your driver's position to get a lot of things. Now, up front, under the hood, there was a 2.0-liter turbo variable compression engine. That's one of the things that they started putting out with. 268 horsepower, 280 pounds.
Wow, that's a lot for a little four-banger.
But it's backed by a CVT. Now, the CVTs have gotten pretty nice and pretty natural, but they're still not like you want to pop some gears or something out of it. So
People that buy that car are not going to do that anymore.
no, they really are not.
But that's
not what
very
they're buying it for.
Nissan Infinities with the CVTs.
But again, that's part of this 55 package because of the styling on it. It's a little more sporty to it. The EPA says you should be looking for 22 on the city, 28 out on the highway, 25 combined. I got 24 across the 380 miles that I drove it. I drove it a lot on the highway because it was a very nice driving vehicle out on the highway. Inside town, those size vehicles are pretty good. But because of that sportiness, the way they've kind of redone it to distinguish it between the 50 to fit that segment of the market, it is a little firm, but that goes along with that sporty look, and you just expect it, and it should be there. The base model price for a vehicle, a QX55, is $49,150. Now, that's the base trim, which is the Luxe model. And this is all packaged. You don't do a lot of options. In fact, the model that we tested only had a $495 paint option. Everything else on the car is standard because of that level.
The way that they package them.
The way they package them with the three levels. So that kind of kicked the as-tested MSRP price up to $56,580 because of the trim level we were at. Now, if you're looking for something to kind of compare it to, you could look at an Audi Q5, which is going to start at $43,500, which is less than the base model price of the 55. Or you could go look at the BMW X4 at $53,400 starting price, which is higher. So it's kind of all of them are kind of right there in that same price, and that is a very competitive segment because there's a lot of vehicles in there. But this is one of them. It's got the Infiniti luxury to it, and I really thought it was user friendly, and it was a very nice driver.
And that rear window, that rear section of it, actually looks pretty cool.
It does. It looks good, and it does. It looks a little more sporty. It doesn't look like your mother-in-law's SUV, but it's still got that Infiniti quality and touch to it.
Oh.
You had mentioned
That,
not having access from the driver's seat, changing your position in the beginning.
Some of them, I find that I've got to lean over a little bit to reach across to reach where the controls are.
Oh, okay.
You know, depending on my seating position, if I'm kind of kicked back and styling a little bit, and then I got to reach forward or lean forward to reach them. But this one, I got where I was driving and what I thought was comfortable driving position for this car, I could reach everything, and I was.
So how did
it just
Jimmy
stood out.
How did Jimmy Buffett sound on that?
Or
Bose?
AC/DC.
He sounded really good, and you could kick it across to AC/DC, either one, because the Bose. I just love the Bose systems in just about anything, but it was rounded up really nice. And with the acoustic glass, it really kind of keeps everything inside of it and keeps the road noise out.
Gotcha.
Now I'm going to take a little survey, if I may.
Survey says?
I'm going to give you guys a choice as to what vehicle I'm going to review next week.
I know.
Is it going to be the Lexus LS 500 that I'm driving out there right now?
The luxury barge.
Got it, and it rides. Oh, let me tell you. Remember the old Cadillac Sedan DeVille, how it rode?
Absolutely.
Ah, it's wonderful.
Dream about it
well,
all the time.
Cadillacs don't drive that way anymore. No, they've changed.
No, you're right.
This is that.
Wow. Floats down the road.
Oh my gosh, it's like, and quiet. You could hear a pin drop if it had wooden floors.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It is.
But that's what it's known for.
So it's either that one or
the Bronco.
The 2023 Ford Bronco Raptor. Which one would you like to have?
Raptor.
Okay, what is your vote?
I haven't seen the Raptor yet, so I'm going to hold my
I haven't
vote.
seen it either, but Raptor.
Raptor.
Yeah. Mars?
What were the choices again?
Yugo.
No.
Mars, you need to go back.
No, I was looking at the calendar because I'm thinking
there's a wire down here.
because you're gonna do one next week and you're gonna do one the following week of those two vehicles. Well, the following week is going to be the Thanksgiving show from Autorama.
So do you want me to do 2 car reviews next week?
No.
Because I can do that.
I think you ought to do the Bronco from Autorama.
Oh, I would agree with that.
Okay.
Because of where we're at. I mean, I'm just
I would
looking at
agree
the
with
calendar.
that.
Where we're at.
will we be?
You can't end
You're
a
at
sentence
Georgia
in a
O'Brien?
preposition. Where are we at?
Where
we are doing the show from.
Thank you.
Where you is,
Where you is.
Where we be?
what you be,
Where we going?
who you do.
What you talking about, Willis?
That's it. What you talking about, Willis?
Well, that's ending on a noun.
Willis.
Yeah, Willis.
Thank you.
Does that matter?
Okay,
Don.
we're going to continue our schooling, our education right after a quick
English
break.
class.
The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In-Wheel Time Car Talk. We also stream on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts are at your fingertips from your favorite podcast source. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break.
Starting to work on your Christmas calendar? Be sure to add the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In Saturday, December 17th. You'll want to attend Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition, Saturday, December 17th. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the Christmas season with friends and family at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, December 17th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting.
Hey, Houston! America's greatest hot rod tradition is back. Thanksgiving weekend. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama at the George Hart Brown Convention Center. 4 action-packed days of hot rods, customs, classics, trucks, performance cars, and live music. Do not miss the ultimate lowrider showcase, sponsored by Shorty's Hydraulics and the traditional Rod Garage. Saturday only, it's the Tuner Galleria with 250 imports, ADM, and luxury cars, plus music and models on the celebrity stage presented by Nick's Auto Repair and Classic Car Restoration. Meet Bad Chad and wife Jolene from Bad Chad Customs on Friday. Saturday, it's Dave Kindig from TV's Bitch and Rise. Sunday, it's Danny Coker and Kevin Mack from TV's Counting Cars. Shop the swap meet and women's world all weekend. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama. November 25th to 28th at the George Hart Brown Convention Center. Discount tickets at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Part of the Summer Racing Equipment Show Car Series. See Autorama.com for more info.
The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In-Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In-Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In-Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In-Wheel Time Car Talk.
Welcome to the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, Mike Wilson from the Beach Boys and Conroe Cruiser Car Club. Later, a look at the stories making automotive news headlines this week. Howdy, along with Mike Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeffrey, we need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Dr. Vinny Boom Botts.
There you go.
So good to have you with us. I could be.
I thought you were Guido Sarducci.
I could be that too, depending on what kind of mood I'm in.
Father Guido.
Father Guido Sarducci.
He's dead.
How many popes in the pizza?
Popes in the pizza.
That was his Saturday night.
Was that a line that he did, a gig that he did?
That was a Saturday Night Live. That
Popes in the pizza. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Beach Boys, Mike Wilson. I mean, Conroe Cruisers Car Club. I know that you've probably heard that a time or two, Mike.
his whole life.
Hello.
Mike, are you there? We see you, Mike, but we cannot hear you, Mike. I think he needs to turn his microphone.
Chuckling.
Yeah, but we can't hear him.
No.
And I've got his microphone on, so it's not my fault. this
No,
time.
and it shows that he's on and he's
Okay,
connected.
well, I don't know. Yeah.
He's playing.
Mike,
with you.
say something.
Yeah, so that's not going to happen. So I'll let you work on that down there. We worked on your wiring down here. It's
You
time-
work
it's
on
your-
it down
Well,
there.
and I appreciate that.
Just don't touch it.
Yeah, don't touch
I'm
it.
not touching it.
I do have some recalls to tell you about. Ready? Mm-hmm. And you want to do that, or you want me to overdub the Autorama thing? I've got Autorama here in notes. Would you like me to
That's
do
your
the notes?
call. You
Okay,
demand.
well, I
demand.
really want to tell everybody about Autorama because
let's do that.
you heard the commercial, but if you're a car
enthusiast
or television watcher, you've
yeah.
probably seen Bad Chad and his wife Jolene from Bad Chad's Customs.
From
He is
Nova Scotia.
From Nova Scotia.
And his son's on the show too. His son's a painter now.
That's right. Yes, I've seen
the reruns. I've seen it. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's developed into a painter.
The Chad and his wife are going to be at Autorama for a autograph signing session on Friday from 1 to 5.
And Chad has built some very unique custom cars over the
unique,
years.
Very unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's all this visual thing in his
Correct.
head. This isn't something that he builds off of another car. He just totally visualizes it and gets the fenders off of one car and the body and the hood off another. And I follow him on YouTube. He does some cool stuff, but he does it
in a very
low budget
yes,
Yeah.
he does.
way.
Yeah, a Nova Scotia kind of way.
But that's the point because it's cold there like 11 months out of the year. I'm just saying it's cold there quite a bit.
Colder than it is here, that's for sure.
I mean, how do you if people live like that? How do you create a business to make those things? I mean, it would be. I'm just thinking it would
But
be.
it seems like a lot of stuff that he makes, he sells locally.
right.
Yeah,
I'm just
which
saying
is
the
kind of
processes.
surprising
Gets
to me.
commissioned locally.
The
to do it.
processes is what I'm saying.
The winery he built. I'll be honest with you. That white car he built for the winery, stunningly beautiful
Yeah, it
car.
was. Yep.
You know,
I
so he is a visionary, but he's a welder. He's turned Jolene into a welder now as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
She gets in there.
She gets
she's,
after it.
She's welding stuff up. And then, he's got the one friend of his that does the engine work and stuff for him. So he's got different people coming and going, different craftsmen coming and going. But, again, he builds a unique style of car that, you have to maybe have a passion for.
Well, I'm on Facebook friends with, not personally, but one of thousands, Ian Roussel. And I think that I can relate to the stuff that he builds.
He's a down-to-earth guy.
And he is so creative and so talented. Oh, my gosh. He can cut and splice stuff and weld.
But he sees what he wants to build as well.
Yes.
It's not an evolution of a car.
But
He
it's a
sees-
different kind of looking
Right.
at it than the guys up in Nova Scotia.
Right.
There were some episodes on this past week where he even said to the audience, to the show, where he can find things in his shop to put on a car that work.
Yeah.
So he can go like a junk pile, I guess, and build things from it.
And that's what Chad does.
Mm-hmm.
Bad Chad does. He goes into some of these salvage yards up there in Nova
Absolutely.
Scotia after the snow melts and builds a car out of that. It might build one car out of 4 or 5 different cars to make something work. But, but he goes from frame to body to paint to interior. He does it all.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. And there's a new show, and I can't remember the name of it. It's on Motor Trend, where the guy goes to the junkyard, pretty much, or some field somewhere, and rescues. There's a promo that airs where he pulls this Mustang out that's been sitting in a field for 30 years and gets the thing to run. And those are the kind of things that I really like. And he does it in such a unique way, and it's fun to watch him.
I'm not a fan just yet. He's got to win me over. I'm not there yet.
And he says some funny lines, and it's another one of those amazing shows. You wonder how long these shows don't seem to last very long.
I think Bad Chad had like 2 or 3 seasons.
And remember, a season is not
26 shows.
No, it's not. It's however many they decide that
Could
it's
be
gonna
6. It could be 8.
Right.
Yeah.
And now he is a YouTube guy. That's where I catch him.
And that's where they're all going. I mean, look at Danny Coker.
Right.
His stuff that he does.
And Danny Coker's going to be there Sunday at
Right.
Autorama.
Right. Dave Kindig's going to be there Saturday, 1 to 4. We tried to get him on, but unfortunately, he's not going to arrive until right before he does his signing.
Yeah.
And so 1 to 4. It's
So he's going to have a crowd around him as well. People are going to.
Everybody's going to crowd around all those.
There's new
stars
episodes of Bitch and Rides on there now, but they've gone in a little bit different direction where the whole show is one event or a car show rather than progressive build of a car. I'm just seeing that's what I see.
But he's had a little personnel changes too.
Yeah,
He's had a
a
couple
few.
of people have
Yep.
gone elsewhere.
Yep.
And brought a couple of new people in.
Oh, the other one, Iron Resurrection.
Love those guys.
You
out
know
of
that
Austin.
Shorty's got his own show coming on.
Short Dog's got his own show.
Shorty's got his
Out
own
of
show
Dallas.
coming. Yeah. And if you look at the promo, some of the people in his show came from
Martin Brothers.
the Martin Brothers. Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff happens.
I wouldn't be surprised that Martin Brothers didn't support him in going and getting his own show.
Yeah.
Because he was such an integral part of Iron Resurrection.
Hey, listen, this new painter they got is just as talented.
Yeah.
It's funny because those talented guys, like the Martin Brothers bunch, they somehow, some way, find the most talented people. He's got a kid that he brought in there, with the one with the beard, and he started off sweeping the floor.
Yeah.
And then he led to one thing, led to another thing. I know that he chopped
Now he's
some,
doing some fabrication.
I did some spring work on one of the cars just to lower it by an inch. And he let him do more and more stuff. And we've grown with him as a viewer. And now he's doing some incredible stuff with bending metal and welding. And it's unbelievable.
Mike, the guy, his sidekick, he's a super guy. He just looks like he's a fun person to hang out with.
See, I thought that was his brother, but it's not.
No, his brother
is a silent brother, pretty much.
Well, yeah, I think he's a silent partner, but his brother has recently come into the business because he was out of the business for a while,
Right.
construction company or something, and he brought him back.
Right.
But Mike, the fabricator and the guy that does it all, he just looks like he could be a cool dude to hang out with.
Yeah.
Drink a few beers with.
Yeah, I think
Whatever,
we should call up there and see if we could get us a party going, and we could all boogie up there.
Or make it a stop on a cruise.
Well, that's what I'm kind of saying.
Yeah.
Of course, you'd have to get the Oldsmobile because you wouldn't be allowed.
Get a hold of Sparkman and do a tour of Texas.
And stop
That's what I'm
in up
talking
there.
about. Yeah. Take a tour there.
Yeah, I would imagine that the next hot rod tour of Texas is going to be massive.
They're still posting stuff.
Oh yeah.
But he hasn't scheduled. I think he's working on schedule right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
He's trying to get some stuff
You
together.
better hurry up. We're ready.
How you doing there, Mars? Why don't you put your headset on so we can hear you?
He's got Radio Free Europe.
So, what's going on with our guest that is now 9 minutes late?
Well,
He's here.
He's here, and he can hear us, and I can see him talking, but I cannot get him.
Do I need to unplug something over here?
No, I'm not sure what it is. He's bouncing in and out of mute.
Okay, well, I don't have anything. I've got him turned on, and he's feeling it right now. But I've got him turned on over here, so it's not.
Yeah,
me.
but I'm showing he's muted on his end.
Okay, well, I don't care about any of that. So anyway, I want to go on with Autorama. Danny Coker and Kevin Mack from Counting Cars. That's another one of those shows that's gone to YouTube.
Kevin's like the office manager for Danny Coker.
Yeah, they've got to.
He doesn't do anything in the shop. He's pretty much the office.
Well, he's the overseer, the overlord, making sure that they're not spending too much.
Right, they're
and
making
on
money.
budget,
Right.
and on time. Yep.
Because you know how the shop guys are.
Operations.
It's like, hey, man,
He's
you know, that rear axle cost us $10,000. Whoop, that's a little bit too much money. You're not buying
That's a
that.
lot too much money. Yeah.
Well, and you talk about a wonderful painter.
Yes, very talented
Counts
guy.
Custom. He's got a killer painter. Even Horny Mike is kind of a killer painter.
He's kind of faded out of it a little bit, I think.
Yeah,
Because he's got his own things going
I
on the
was
side,
never
his
a
own
big
businesses.
fan of his.
But the mural work he does is
Yeah.
pretty remarkable.
Texas-style music throughout the weekend. You going to play the drums?
No, we're playing tomorrow at a jam, and that'll be fun.
Well, why don't
tomorrow.
you promote that? You know, if you'd like to see Jeff Zekin at his finest, because, you know, Jeff was Major Domo back in the day, and he is a great
Domo
drummer.
arigato.
What?
Staccato.
Domo arigato.
Okay, well, whatever that is. He's everything you want him to be.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And
so
then
that's
some.
that's tomorrow at 4:00 at the County Line.
yeah.
And it's not the County Line Barbecue; it's the County Line Bar and Grill.
And what it is, it's a jam session. We play for an hour, and we invite other musicians to join in, and either another band or individuals, solo.
So bring your
singers.
harmonica or
There's going to be a couple
accordion.
of guys there. Yeah, a couple of guys will.
Bring your accordion and you can join
What are
in.
you eating?
Something that Mike left on the table.
Cough drops.
So come on out. It'll be fun.
62nd O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama, George R. Brown. Thanksgiving weekend opens at 3:00 on Thanksgiving afternoon, and runs
So instead of taking that
nap.
food
turducken.
coma nap at 3:00, go to Autorama.
Listen, I don't need to
Walk
have
it off.
I don't need to have turkey to have a food nap in the afternoon. I just eat a sandwich and
A
I'm
turkey
out.
sandwich. Turduncan.
No, a turducken.
Turducken. What did I say? Turduncan?
Turd. You said turducken.
He's putting a donut in a turd.
Oh, no. Moving on.
Well, this is what happens when you've got too much time on your hands, as you can
That's
tell.
another good song.
Yeah, it is.
What's that?
Too much
much
time,
time
on
on
your
your
hand. Yeah.
hands.
Foreigner.
Was it Foreigner? Anyway,
No.
tickets are $23 a person for adults. You can get a $2 discount coupon at O'Reilly. O'Reilly Auto Parts.
All O'Reilly's locations.
Yeah. Children 6 to 12, $4. Children under 5 are free.
Free for the taking. Come and get one.
So at any rate, yeah.
If you like kids, I mean, you could do that.
Are you going to go?
Yeah.
Is the Booge and Kathy
I
going to go?
don't know. I'm sure Jason would want to go with his buddy Angelo, like they do every
Well,
year.
we're going to need to get
And
some more tickets.
We'll have to do that, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, I'll make the offer to him. And if not, we'll just go on our own.
Yeah, good. Because, well, the three of us, Mr. Wiring down here, you and me will be
Well,
there.
what about David?
Yeah,
And David Ainsley, yes.
David
Ainsley.
And Short Circuit. That's going to be the new nickname, Short Circuit.
There was a TV show, movie,
Yeah.
Short Circuit.
That's my
Was that a
name.
Disney movie?
I don't know, but it could be.
Anyway.
It can be now.
I'm sure that Mike Wilson with the Conroe Cruisers Car Club had a lot to say, but unfortunately we're unable to
Connect.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here.
wheel him in. But at any rate, there are lots to do at the Autorama Thanksgiving weekend. Go.
Can be busy.
Have a
busy,
good time.
busy.
I've got some recalls to tell you about.
Mercedes, you think? What's the over and under on Mercedes?
Yeah, I think there's a GM.
Okay.
Big
Big
GM
jam.
one.
Yeah. Okay.
How about your Porsche 911
How
GT3?
about that?
It's being recalled because a seatbelt anchor may detach from the seat.
It's because the car goes too fast and the seat doesn't stop soon enough.
An operative rear view camera display on every Audi known to man that was made in 2022.
Oops.
Volkswagen Atlas and Atlas Cross Sport for 22 and 23.
That's a new one.
The trailing arm bolts are improperly tightened.
Ooh.
They're either too
Gives you a little
tight or too
directional
loose.
stability issues.
Yeah, you think? I saw an 18-wheeler this week on I-10, the Baytown East Freeway at Waco, heading inbound into downtown. The whole rear carriage of the trailer, came off of the trailer while he was going down the freeway. So here are 2, 4, 6, 8 wheels and tires and the carriage part of it that attaches to underneath back here. And here is the trailer loaded down to the hilt with a big bend in the middle of it when it hit the concrete. And he probably went another 100 yards down the freeway when he realized, something's wrong.
Truck feels a little light.
Yeah. And I can only imagine going down the freeway next to him, and all of a sudden, whoosh, there go the wheels.
It's the wheel immobilizer.
The wheel immobilizer.
It was quite something to see.
Yeah, I saw them when they were trying to pick it back up.
They were trying to pick the carriage
Yeah,
up.
I saw your shot of that.
And that guy was, he couldn't get the wheels off. Anyway, Dodge, Challenger, and Charger for 2022. An inoperative TPMS sensor.
Oh.
Or probably 4 of them, I guess.
That's easy fix.
So you heard General Motors recalled.
I'm not done yet.
Okay.
You'll have your time. Hyundai, Santa Fe Sport, ABS unit may cause an engine compartment thermal event for the 2018 model year. Tire pressure loss not detected on Audi and Volkswagen groups, 2019 through 2021. Seatbelt pretensioners may explode.
That's what they do.
And the Genesis and Hyundai models for 23, 21, and 22.
That'll scare the critters out of you.
That pretty much will do it. Okay, what did you have?
General Motors recalls 340,000 full-size SUVs because the daytime running lights don't turn off.
Could you pull this a little bit closer, please?
Because the daytime running lights won't turn off when the headlights are on, so it's too bright. Now, there's not many people who've ever said that about General Motors, that they're too bright.
I knew where that was going. That was a good one.
But they've recalled 2022 SUVs.
300,000?
340,000 full-size SUVs.
You know, just to make it perfectly clear, however minor a recall is, it costs those corporations, those automotive
millions
and
Billions.
millions of dollars just for a light bulb. Millions.
Go to safercar.gov, check the 17-digit VIN. It's on your insurance card, and see which one your car is involved in.
Yep.
And get it fixed.
Yep.
I mean, they'll give you a car, the whole 9 yards, just to get your car in there.
And if you want to sell it, trade it into Mac, or if you want to go to Emmons Pro, they'll take your car and they'll do you right.
Yeah.
There you go. I see we got Mike back on the pre-screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's still muted.
Well, yeah, no.
We could get it fixed. Have him on next week there, Short Circuit.
Yep.
Do we call him Shorty for short?
You need to let that go down there, Mr. Morris. Yeah. It's all right. I mean, you've spent 20 minutes trying to get him on, and it's not working for you. Yeah. You need to put your headset on so we can hear you.
Hello.
We've only been doing this for 11 years, and I've tried to instruct and inform these guys that you need to have a microphone close to your mouth for all of us to hear you. But there are those that don't understand that.
Well, we're not the consummate professionals that are inducted into the Broadcasting Hall of Fame.
A moron could tell you that.
See,
that's
Don?
nothing to do with
That's Don. You got it right.
It's exactly, you got that right, my friend. I watched a video. Don't ask me why I watched
Monty
it.
the donkey? The singing donkey?
How's Monty doing?
Monty's doing well.
Good.
I did this tour of YouTube yesterday because we couldn't fly because of the weather. And I was looking up C5 Corvette videos, how to, problems with this, problems with that. Quite educational, actually. There was stuff on there that I didn't know that I could do through the car's computer with those 5 buttons that are over there next to the instrument cluster. It's interesting what you can do. For instance, the traction control, it's got a traction control on and off button down on the center console. It, by default, is on all the time. Good for me. I'm in. You can turn it off. But you can also put it into competition mode, and it turns everything off, all of it. I did not know that. And the way to do it is you press it and you hold it. And then all of a sudden on the display up there in the instrument cluster, it goes,
hold my beer,
competition mode. Yeah.
So did you do that?
I have not done that because I'm not talented enough.
Well, you can at least turn it on to see how it.
To drive it in
Yeah.
competition mode?
No,
And then you can turn it off.
Okay, now I've told you my stories.
as it
about
goes down the street this way.
when
in
I worked for
circles.
General Motors, and you'd see these wrecked Corvettes in the body shop, and I'd go interview the customer, and I'd say, "You touched the button, didn't you?"
Don't touch it.
and generally,
Touch the red button.
Generally, they would turn traction control off or go into comp mode and wreck the car because the car was smarter than they were.
And I watched a video about it that General Motors actually made the video explaining how the anti-lock brakes work and what happens when it loses traction. It's truly an amazing thing how all of that works together. It's quite sophisticated. And
Very, very much so. Yeah, because it's not just the analog brakes; it's also the stability control. As you're yawing out, you're spinning out the rear end, and it starts touching different brakes to bring you back in line. It's pretty
Correct.
pretty
You
complicated
gotta
system.
turn it on.
it's-
You got to turn it on and maybe go a block with it.
It's very sophisticated. And
Did I ever tell you about the time I was up at Chelsea?
oh god,
Here we
and
go.
turned the traction control off on the Viper? Fortunately, it was out on a big
why did
skid
you
pad.
do something like that?
Well, I
Mars?
just seemed like the thing to do. I thought I was going to go through the little course a little quicker, and I was going to show them just how good a driver I
And
was.
where did the car wind up?
It stayed on the skid pad. I mean, it was
Not where it's supposed to be, but
well,
still
it was on the
skid
skid pad.
But it was upside down.
After he went through all the cones that were on the skid pad.
No, I only went through half.
Well,
of them.
didn't somebody here in Houston turtle a Viper?
Yes, as a matter of fact,
Yes,
he
he
did.
did.
And then I think somebody just recently turtled a Z06 Corvette in
Now
the
explain
press
what
fleet.
turtle is to the audience.
Put it on its roof.
There you go.
Yeah, the Viper was upside down in a ditch, and from what I understand, is that Stellantis wound up having the car taken back to Detroit, and it was
Crushed.
crushed.
Yep.
That was the
and
end
there
of
were
that.
no more Vipers in the press fleet after that.
That's right. Thank you, Harold.
I wasn't
Harold
gonna
Dunn did
say
that one.
He
He's
didn't
at
get
the
hurt, though.
ultimate ditchweed. Huh?
Probably another person that was going to show off on how good a driver I am and wasn't.
I learned one time early on with the traction control, if it's got traction control,
Leave it on.
Leave it on. Stability control.
Don't touch the button.
They're now, if the car is equipped with stability control, they're integrated together. Leave it alone.
Well, and, for yours being a 2001, the technique or the technology of a 2022 is so far advanced over what you were in 2021.
Correct.
They are way smarter.
2001.
They're way smarter than they were 20 years ago.
So what else did you find out about it? You got the traction control, and you said there was other things.
There were lots of other things on there that will go nameless because I can't remember what they were.
Well, you could also put it in dyno mode.
Well, mine does not have dyno mode.
Dynamite.
Where you can put it on a dynamometer and test the output of the engine, because on a dynamometer you have to turn the traction control. Might be comp mode, but you have to turn the traction control off because it doesn't see the front wheels spinning and it sees the rears, so it's taking effect in the traction.
So it's a chassis dyno.
Yeah, there's all sorts of things. Well, at any rate, it was an interesting read, and I'll bet you that your car, whatever car it is, has a video on there. These were two guys, two different Corvette enthusiast shops and that sort of stuff. Very interesting stuff.
I've got to replace the battery in my fob. I got an alert in the car this morning, as a matter of fact.
Really?
Yeah, change your battery in the fob.
Okay. Well,
Probably a 2036 wafer.
Yeah.
don't forget
Something
that.
like that.
All right. Time now for a quick break. We're going to wrap up today's In Wheel Time Car Talk Show right after this, so stay with us.
Starting to work on your Christmas calendar? Be sure to add the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In Saturday, December 17th. You'll want to attend Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition, Saturday, December 17th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the Christmas season with friends and family at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, December 17th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting.
Hey, Houston, America's greatest hot rod tradition is back. Thanksgiving weekend. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama at the George R. Brown Convention Center. 4 action-packed days of hot rods, customs, classics, trucks, performance cars, and live music. Do not miss the Ultimate Lowrider Showcase, sponsored by Shorty's Hydraulics and the Traditional Rod Garage. Saturday only, it's the Tuner Galleria with 250 imports, ADM, and luxury cars, plus music and models. On the celebrity stage, presented by Nick's Auto Repair and Classic Car Restoration, meet Bad Chad and wife Jolene from Bad Chad Customs on Friday. Saturday, it's Dave Kindig from TV's Bitch and Rise. Sunday, it's Danny Coker and Kevin Mack from TV's Counting Cars. Shop the swap meet and women's world all weekend. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama. November 25th to 28th at the George R. Brown Convention Center. Discount tickets at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Part of the Summer Racing Equipment Show Car Series. See Autorama.com for more info.
The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk.
Well, that's a wrap for this week's In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. When you're online, check out our Facebook page. Give us a like, tell your friends about us, share our junk if you would, please. You'll get Conrad's Unicorn Hunting features, along with all things automotive, all week long for free, including new car reviews, upcoming events, cruise-ins, racing events, and other goodies. You can find the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show 24/7 on the iHeart Radio app. In Wheel Time can also be heard and seen live on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. And thanks, Facebook, for getting us hung up today.
Yeah.
We're always on live Saturdays, 8 to 11 Central Time. 30-minute podcast available from your favorite podcast provider 7 days a week. The In Wheel Time Chief Engineer is David Ainsley. Our Marketing Advertising Manager and Video Technical Director is We Need More, Jeff Zekin.
Yes.
Our booking agent and podcast editor, Mike Mars, and Mr. Know-It-All, his royalty, King Conrad DeLong. I'm Don Armstrong. Today's In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is produced by the most famous used car hawker of all time, Art Grindle.
Yeah.
Be sure and join us for the next 3-hour In Wheel Time Car Talk Show Saturday, November 19th, 2022, starting at 8 a.m. Central Time on all of our In Wheel Time Car Talk outlets, right here on the Smoke and Mirrors Network. Have a great, safe weekend. Until next time, car lovers.